It's Roc and Manuch with Jimmy B. Now on ESPN 620, 98.7 FM HD2, and streaming live at ArizonaSports.com. The guys are powered by the law offices of Lerner and Rowe. In a wreck and need a check? Make one call, that's all. 602-977-1900. And now on your ESPN station in Phoenix, ESPN 620, Roc and Manuch with Jimmy B.
Diamondbacks got a victory last night over the Mets. Same two teams are in progress right now. It is indeed getaway day, and they're in the second inning and no score. We will update you throughout the show on the progress of that game. Also, the Suns introduced their brand new general manager, even though he has been in the building for over a year and a half. NBA playoffs did not disappoint, and the ratings for the NBA are off the charts. NASCAR says goodbye to the Valley. We're going to get into all of it. Welcome in, everybody. Roc and Manuch with Jimmy B. Jax is here along with Connor and Jesse NASCAR, because we needed a NASCAR guy in here who knows more about it than we do. I know they turn left. That's about it. So Jesse is here. We'll get to him in just a moment. So the D-backs and the Mets right now, no score as I referenced in the second inning. Mets have a runner at second base. But last night they got a solid performance, a home run by Gurriel as well, and it is a victory over the Mets as they get back in the win column.
Yeah, and I think Gallen's the highlight. Really frustrated the Mets last night, pitching 7 strong innings. Anytime you can have a pitcher like Gallen, we talked yesterday about the pitching, the woes and the injuries and stuff going on there. For him to show out and perform and pitch 7 strong innings, you could tell the Mets were frustrated, who have Soto and have Lindor, those big bats, Alonso. So for the D-backs to get one back, that's all you can really ask for. And you talk about a guy that's really stepped up this year, and Josh Naylor, he did it again with a two-run shot last night. So you hope the D-backs can bounce back with another win against the Mets here. Like you mentioned, the game just tipped off, or I should say pitched just a bit ago. Tipped off, pitched off. So many sports, can't keep up with it.
So yesterday, the general manager of the Phoenix Suns met the news media. We played a clip of Brian Gregory. The thing that stood out to me, and you're going to hear a lot of that a little later on here in the show, but the thing that stood out to me was I thought at least he came out honest, because one of the first things he said was, if it wasn't for my close association with Matt Ishbia, the owner of the Suns, I would not be here. So I tip my cap to him for at least making that known almost from the get-go when that press conference started.
Yeah, I don't know how I feel about him saying, I would have rather have him say, because of my work in basketball and me associating and meeting Matt Ishbia got me here, but to him say his relationship got him there.
That's what he said.
We see so many times, and whether it's sports media or other jobs and stuff, or even you could say Josh Barlstein getting the job because of his father, like having a relationship and getting your job there when you're obviously underqualified. I don't know how I felt about that. I also feel like he used the word alignment a lot. So hopefully you and me can be aligned on the show for the next 3 hours.
We're going to play a drinking game here later on how many times he says alignment. I brought in a bottle of wild turkey. So every time he says that, we have to take a shot.
I mean, that would be a fun game, definitely. I think 26 times he said alignment. So,
man, I'll be hammered.
Yeah, you could tell he was a little nervous. You could tell that maybe Ishbia said he wanted to be alignment and identity were the two things that he wanted to express during the press conference. Also, a very long press conference. Yeah, 45 minutes.
Yeah, I
felt like he was saying the same thing over and over again. But I'm glad we could get that off the hook, because it was just kind of a tough listen, and we'll get into the sound later on, too, later in the show.
All right, the big story today in the National Football League, the Cowboys. Jerry Jones said before the draft that the Cowboys were going to make a big deal. Well, apparently this was it, because they did a trade with the Pittsburgh Steelers for wide receiver George Pickens. Now, look, I think Pickens is a wonderful talent, but he's got the brain of a 12-year-old. And I have a feeling in all of the chaos that takes place in Big D surrounding the Cowboys, this could be really problematic. And I'm not really sure how C.D. Lamb is going to react to this.
I disagree.
Tell me why.
I think in a program with Dak Prescott at the helm, they didn't really have a leader offensively with the Steelers. I feel like
they had Russell Wilson.
A bunch of the nonsense of him having a small brain and the theatrics or whatever. That's not going to carry in Dallas. I don't think. So I think with CeeDee Lamb there, with the wide receivers and Micah Parsons and the leaders they have there, I think it's a tremendous value for the Dallas Cowboys to only give up a third-round pick and a 2027 fifth-round pick. You have a second-round, a second receiver that Dak Prescott can rely on to with CeeDee Lamb. You got Jake Ferguson, and I kind of puzzled myself over here. The Steelers, I know they were trying to get rid of him, but now you got a Steelers offense with DK Metcalf and Pat Freiermuth. I don't know if that's really what Aaron Rodgers, if you're trying to get him in there, wants to throw to after Pickens left. But I don't worry about it. His play on the field with Pickens and the amount of quarterbacks he had to deal with, the poor play there, and he still produced. I like this for Dallas.
All right. I thought it was talent-wise, I thought it was a great deal. It's just what takes place with what you're getting with Pickens. That's the thing that I think is going to stand out in Dallas. All right. Are you excited that the Coyotes are now officially no more? The Hockey Club of Utah has come out and said, we are the Utah Mammoth. I love the name.
The plural
I think
version
it
is
perfect.
Mamai. Mamai is the plural version.
Mamai is? It's
Mamai.
Mamai? Okay. But they just said Mammoth. It is going to be singular.
I like it.
I like it.
I think it's a solid name. I don't really have any heartburn over it. It's always hurts anytime we talk about the Utah Mammoth now because of the Coyotes and them leaving. But I think it's a solid name. I'm glad they didn't go for Utah Hockey Club for an extra year or anything like that. They assembled a name, Utah being a snowy, state and Salt Lake being a city like that. Over 850,000 ballots were cast by fans in multiple rounds of voting. They found out Utah Mammoth. I think it flows. I like the name.
Yeah, I like it too. All right, NASCAR has said adios to the Valley. Well, kind of. Because now, after this end of this season and the race, which is the championship race in November, now NASCAR is going to take the race to Florida. So we asked Jesse NASCAR to come in. And the reason we asked Jesse is because he follows this much more closely than the three of us do. So, Jesse, let's just start. How does this hit NASCAR fans in the Valley?
Well, as a NASCAR fan, I think it's a positive change because now they're going to start rotating tracks and, you're going to get to see the championship race at various tracks, starting with Homestead in 2027. But as a Phoenix NASCAR fan, you're kind of bummed because it was great to always have the championship race here. And it's only been, I think this will be the 6th year of them having it here. It's only been a few years. And so you didn't really get the feeling of it like settling in as becoming like a real Valley tradition. It kind of came here and then it's now leaving. So as a Phoenix NASCAR fan, really bummed about it. As a NASCAR fan as a whole, I think it could be positive for the sport.
All right, so let me follow up with that. As a Phoenix NASCAR fan, they sold it out every year, and fans came from everywhere just because it was in November and the weather's great and you get a chance to watch racing.
Yeah, for sure. And they made this track a lot better a few years ago.
Right.
They changed the start finish line to a turn, which makes just these insane restarts every time there's a caution and they restart. It's wild. You get like 6 wide at times, 6 cars next to each other. And it's just, there's no track like it. And so, I mean, I thought it was a great spot for the championship race. And obviously there's a passionate fan base for NASCAR out here, and it's a good place to come and visit in November. So, but I think when they do this rotation, they're probably going to go to tracks like Miami Homestead. They'll probably come back to Phoenix. I wouldn't be shocked if they
would be in it. They would be in the rotation. The Phoenix track would remain in the rotation.
I'm not 100% sure on that yet because they haven't really decided which was
what the rotation is going to be.
All that we know now is that it's going to be Homestead next year.
Okay. All right. Thank you, brother. Appreciate
Thank you.
coming
Thanks for
by.
having me.
That is Jesse NASCAR, because he knows a lot more about lug nuts than both Jackson, I, and Connor do. All right, here we go. Coming up in our next segment, it is going to be our Replay Rewind, and we've got action from Major League Baseball and the NBA playoffs. We're just getting underway, everybody. Roc and Manuch with Jimmy B. ESPN 620, also on the FM dial, 98.7 HD2.
Remember when things were built to last? Well, at Arizona Patio Furniture, we've been handcrafting premium outdoor furniture and custom cushions for over 15 years, right here in Phoenix, using 100% American-made materials. We build it, we sell it, we guarantee it with our exclusive 5-year plus worry-free warranty. Visit any one of our 3 Valley showrooms or go to ArizonaPatioFurniture.com. Mention this ad for free delivery and setup in Maricopa County. Arizona Patio Furniture. Some things are still made like they used to be.
Are you looking to spike sales and grab the attention of sports fans? Arizona's longest-running sports show has a fresh opportunity just for you. Get your brand, message, and business in front of a diverse audience. Join Roc and Manuch with Jimmy B. right here on ESPN 620 and FM at 98.7 HD2. Text 602-881-1213 for an effective and inexpensive strategy to grow your business. It's that simple. Text 602-881-1213 today.
Rock for WrightToyota.com. At Wright Toyota, they'd like you to get to know them. Their goal is to make buying your next vehicle the kind of experience that earns.
Since you're going to do that, I think I won't play. Well, no, because the game is on. I'll just play Gallon post game.
Pre-owned Toyota, head to their interactive website at WrightToyota.com. The right price, the right selection, all at WrightToyota.com.
Craving tacos? There's one spot in town that everyone can't stop talking about. The Taco Spot. With mouth-watering, authentic Mexican flavors and a modern twist. It's no wonder they're the local favorite.
The Taco Spot has the best tacos I've ever had.
With locations opening all over Arizona, satisfying your cravings has never been easier. Come and experience the tacos to talk about. Enjoy handmade tortillas and fresh made-to-order meals that will leave your taste buds dancing. The Taco Spot, where every bite is a fiesta.
You're invited to Vans Golf Shops for the Mother's Day sale this 5th through the 11th. Book a free club fitting for mom. For all apparel, 20% off. Starter sets over $299 are 15% off. And swing by the shoe wall to get an additional 20% off all green tag women's shoes. Vans Golf Shops is your home for the best Mother's Day gifts this year. Trusted by golfers since 1963 and home to the legendary 90-day satisfaction guarantee. Get there.
We are the keepers of the wild. For more than 80 years, we've been committed to conserving the natural landscapes that define our nation. Nothing is more important than maintaining wild spaces for adventurers to explore and wildlife to thrive. We are America's hunters and target shooters. Together with firearm, ammunition, and archery manufacturers, we've supported the conservation of more than 36 million acres of American wildlands. For more information, visit outdoorstewards.org.
You're my little boo thing, so I'll give a hoot what you do. Say, girl, I know you a little too tame. I'll be shooting that shot like 2K. I'm telling my next. A little something.
Now it's time for our Replay Rewind. The top sounds of the night and whatever Rock decides to add. Let's get to it in Replay Rewind with Roc and Manuch with Jimmy B on ESPN 620 and on FM at 98.7 HD2.
And now the pitcher Peterson swung on that. Is hit well out to left field. Nimmo back, turns and watches. Home run, Gurriel. Fastball right down the chute. And Gurriel turned it around. Oh, that was a nice swing.
And that was from last night's game and a victory for the Diamondbacks. Gurriel was his 2-run homer. That made it 4-1. That was in the bottom of the 6th. They end up winning the game. Thank you to Arizona Sports for that highlight. Following the game last night, Zach Gallen, here are his thoughts on how well he was pitching and what was working well.
I mean, I feel like I had everything. Changeup necessarily wasn't there first couple innings. I think once the fatigue kind of set in, the changeup kind of showed its head. But yeah, felt like I was in a really good spot delivery-wise. Was able to kind of repeat pretty well. Was just kind of be able to stay in the zone and I mean, Hosey called a great game, so just kind of following his lead and try to make pitches.
There you go, Zach Gallen from last night. Now, getaway day is today, and so the Mets and D-backs are in progress right now. We had a shot into the gap by the Diamondbacks, but the runner is thrown out at home plate, so still no score in this game in the second inning between the D-backs and the Mets. We'll continue to update you as the game goes on. By the way, you can always listen to it on Arizona Sports Station 98.7. All right, let's move then to the NBA last night. And yesterday, Jax and I had a debate over which teams we liked. I sucked pond water, and Jax was right on the money because you thought that the Pacers would find a way to win that game last night.
You gonna spoil it for the people out there before we get the sound, Jimmy B? Maybe someone's like listening. They're like, I don't know what happened last night. I want to listen to the sound. That is true. Social media nowadays. Yeah, 1-1 in our predictions. I did not think. I had a parlay yesterday, which I announced on the radio. The Timberwolves money line ruined it because Anthony Edwards doesn't know how to shoot a three-pointer. What are they, 12 of 78 the last 2 days?
Terrible.
But, yeah, let's get into some of these highlights, Jimmy B. You're good at orchestrating them because the first game, Cavs-Pacers, I mean, the whole game, 32-15 the first quarter, I was like, oh, no, the Pacers aren't going to do this. There's no way. But it's the NBA, and teams come back.
Yep.
And exactly what the Pacers did last night.
That's exactly why we love the NBA and why you cannot quit on your team. Donovan Mitchell gets the fans on their feet.
They found their rhythm and got back to playing Pacers ball.
Donovan Mitchell with a monster dunk, and the place went crazy. That took place in the second quarter, and at that time, the Cavs led by 10. Thank you to TNT for these highlights. But as we just talked about, it's the NBA, and every team always tries to make a run. Indiana did that last night, and the guy who the Cavalier fans were yelling at as overrated the entire night. Guess what Tyrese Halliburton did?
They do a much better job of getting open.
Misses Halliburton the rebound. 9 seconds. They do have a timeout. Carlisle's going to let him play. Halliburton steps back. Tyrese Halliburton trying to take Cleveland's heart. It's over. The Indiana Pacers in a Game 2 stunner.
I mean, the Cavs had that game in hand, and they were up by 7 with less than a minute left, and they found a way to lose.
Yeah, you got to give credit to Nesmith, who had that incredible dunk after the missed free throw from Miles Turner, and then he also had the charge the next possession on Donovan Mitchell. How about Halliburton missing the free throw, be able to get his rebound from Miles Turner, and his ball handling skills and the way he creates his shot. He's having a hell of a playoff run, and you look at Halliburton now as one of the best point guards in the league. And this Pacer team not only gets 1 on the road, they get 2 on the road, and the pressure becomes on the Cavs. We talked yesterday, Jimmy B, about how Evan Mobley needed to step up. He ended up not playing this game.
Right.
So Jared Allen comes in. I mean, 48 points for Donovan Mitchell. That's all you can do if you're him. It's just the injuries are piling on at the worst time for the Cleveland Cavaliers. And you got to give credit to this Pacers team, man. They have so much fight, whether it's Siakam or Nembhard or even Miles Turner on the glass with 8 rebounds, but had about 5 in the fourth quarter. This Pacers team, man, what an upset it could be. And they're up 2-0. Nobody saw this coming. I'm pretty sure all the ESPN writers had the Cavs in 4 or Cavs in 5. But,
yeah.
Man, Halliburton, fun to watch. And for him to make that three-pointer, I was a happy man yesterday.
All right, so I referenced the fact that the sold-out house in Cleveland were all chanting in unison, overrated, overrated. Then Halliburton does what he did at the end of the game and wins it. Here's what he had to say about the game winner and the chant.
That one was unexpected. I didn't know we had beef, but yeah, I guess good for them, man. I that came out of nowhere, but it's just I think now that label's there, they're all there's going to be every time we play somebody, every time on the road, he'll probably follow me until the next poll comes out, and then we'll see if I'm number 1 again. But for me, I just control what I can, man. Yeah, I mean, overrate that.
Okay, but Halliburton's referring to, there was a poll taken, and okay, I'm taking a poll. I'm 6 feet tall. Do you believe that?
No.
Connor, do you believe I'm 6 feet tall?
Sorry, Jimmy.
Okay, see, okay, so there's the poll right there. I am 6 feet tall. I'm lying. And so these guys then, that's how these stupid polls take place. And he was voted as the most overrated player in the NBA. Most overrated. And that's why we ran that clip of him not only talking about the game winner, but the chant as well. Look, Jack's referenced Donovan Mitchell last night, pouring in 48 last night. He did everything he possibly could. Here's how he responded after the loss.
I mean, it's tough, but that's what the playoffs are, you know? Now, we got 2 days. Get ready for Friday. You ain't got no choice. I mean, we can sit here and dwell on this and be home in about 4 or 5 days, or we can move on and take some things that we did really well and then go from there. I have no doubt everybody in that locker room is ready for Friday. It sucks, stings, but we got to go out there and take care of business. Otherwise, that's it. But I believe in everybody in the locker room. We believe in each other. Figure it out.
That is Donovan Mitchell. What a class guy he is. And he's a great, great player.
Yeah, he battled last night. He took a bunch of shots down on the rim, got postered somebody, got postered on. He looks shaken up too, so he's going to have to fight back. They got to get some help. So I don't know if Garland will come back anytime soon. He's been out for a while. They got to get Mobley or DeAndre Hunter. Ty Jerome, 1 of 14 yesterday. Just stunk for the Cavaliers, but you got to give all credit to the Pacers, man. They were down 20 at one point, and they just found a way. How about that for the playoffs? You just take a step back. The 5 first-round games that we've seen so far.
Right.
Indiana's won 2 of them. Knicks have won 1. Nuggets have won 1. And the Warriors won 1. All underdogs so far. So we'll see tonight, and we'll get into the games later on. But the underdogs get in an early run here, Jimmy B, in the NBA playoffs.
It's the first time that the underdogs in this round have all won. The first time it's happened in the NBA. All right, so to the other game. And this one blew me away because the Minnesota T-Wolves never got off the bus. They were awful in the game last night. Steph Curry was on fire right away.
Was fourth in the NBA in three-point percentage.
Curry dancing with Alexander Walker. Stephen Curry, as only he can do.
And Steve Kerr just shakes his head.
All right, 25-20. That was the score then in the first quarter, and the Warriors were starting to pull away already. However, this next play is the worst thing that could ever happen if you are Golden State.
Not just the Warriors who played it well, but just zone defense a lot more prevalent in the NBA now as Curry converts the floater.
Well, Curry's hurt though, Coach. Something grabbed him. He's asking for relief from that bench. I'm not sure what it was, but he came out of there hobbled. And Chris Finch gets the timeout. This is a 14-0 run, but there is concern for Stephen Curry. After that little runner in the lane, which followed this three-pointer, Curry on his way to the locker room.
So that was it then for Steph Curry. Now he's come out. It is a hamstring strain, and he is going to – pardon me?
Grade 1.
Grade 1, thank you. And he is indeed going to miss at least a week and maybe more.
Yeah, you don't know how many more games, at least for the Warriors, and they proved to continue to hold on to that lead early on and without Steph Curry and win that game last night. But you wonder if Anthony Edwards on the off night that he had only 1 point in the first half, I don't think that's going to happen again. So you wonder if guys like Buddy Hield, and you want to talk about a playoff performance the last couple of games.
Yes. He's
been on fire. Jimmy Butler's probably got to step up a little more, maybe play more minutes for his older age. And then, Podziemski's got to step up. They got to have guys step up if they want to go and win this second game to go back home to 2-0 in the meantime with Steph Curry. But at least a week, that's at least the next 2 games, you would assume?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, I mean, that's a crushing blow for Golden State. Speaking of Buddy Hield,
here's Buddy Hield, catch and shoot. The stroke is pure.
He is on fire right now, Buddy Hield. He looks like when he played at Oklahoma.
Oh, he was so fun to watch.
He was great fun to watch when he was at Oklahoma. And the Sooner basketball team, they were on fire. Buddy Hield finally looks again like that guy. I want to go to our very last comment here, and it is Minnesota coach Chris Finch. Jack's already talked about what a poor showing it was for Anthony Edwards. So in the post-game comments, Finch called him out.
It starts with Anthony. I thought he struggled early, and then you could just kind of see the light go out a little bit for a while. And then, obviously we had to try to get him going in the second half. But, I think, it was one of those games where he kind of came out with a predetermined mindset of what he was trying to do, and just rather than just playing the game that was in front of him. So,
thank you to NBA TV for that comment. Rarely in the playoffs does a coach call out a player, but that was the appropriate time to do that by Coach Finch. It really was. Look, Anthony Edwards is 23. He is going to be a star eventually in the NBA, but he is not that dude yet. Not when you have a performance like that, as lackluster as you showed in Game 1 on your home court. So it's a lesson learned by the Ant-Man. That's today's Replay Rewind. It's all presented by Lerner & Rowe. In a wreck, need a check? Just make one call. 602-977-1900. Always at lernerandrowe.com. Don't forget, you get a free consultation. Once again, Lerner & Rowe. One call. That's all. 602-977-1900. Coming up, more conversation about the NBA, including the Phoenix Suns, because Suns radio analyst Tim Kempton is going to be our guest, and he is next. Connor, however, has a Twin Peaks ESPN 620 update right now.
It's now time for your Roc and Manuch with Jimmy B's Twin Peaks ESPN 620 update. I'm Connor Collins. Currently, right now, the Arizona Diamondbacks are at the bottom of the third against the New York Mets. This game right now going on at Chase Field there in Phoenix, Arizona. And currently, Merrill Kelly out on the mound, already with 4 strikeouts on the evening. The only person so far with a hit for the Diamondbacks is going to be center fielder Alec Thomas, as the bat's still taking a second here to get hot. Still have a long game left to play. We'll keep you updated as the show goes on. If you're searching for the best burgers in the game, find them at Twin Peaks all month long. It's National Hamburger Month, and these seasoned, smashed, and seared burgers are waiting to be discovered. Twin Peaks. Eats, drinks, scenic views.
Beat the heat with AC Experts. Is your air conditioning ready for summer? Don't sweat it. Our certified technicians are here to keep your home cool and comfortable. From routine maintenance to emergency repairs, we've got you covered. Enjoy staycations in a perfectly chilled home. For a limited time, take advantage of our special discounts on new AC installations. Call AC Experts today at 480-386-6980 or visit acexpertsaz.com to schedule your appointment. Stay cool, Arizona.
Twin Peaks is the best in the game. Here, the ultimate lunch lineup boasts wall-to-wall sports and scenic views. When you're hungry and in a hurry, the Scratch Kitchen delivers lunch in the clutch. I mean, where else can you order a 29-degree draft beer and a quickie combo on your lunch break? Only at Twin Peaks, the #1 sports bar.
Twin Peaks Scratch Kitchen scores every time. Dig into hand-smashed burgers, chef-inspired flatbreads, and more at your local lodge.
Get ready, Arizona. The Rattlers are back for the 2025 season inside Desert Diamond Arena. Experience the hard hits, high energy, and nonstop action of indoor football like never before inside the Snake Pit. Lock in your season tickets, bring the crew for group nights, or keep it flexible with Rattlers Flex Packs. There's something for every fan. The turf is heating up. Are you ready to strike? Visit azrattlers.com today and secure your seats before they're gone.
Summer is just around the corner. Is your roof ready for the monsoon season? Well, now's the perfect time to call State 48 Roofing for a free roof inspection. Don't wait until you're dealing with a leaky roof in the scorching heat. Protect your home today. Visit state48roofing.com or call 480-268-4509. Keep your roof sexy with State 48 Roofing, the #1 referred roofer in Arizona. Proudly serving the Arizona residential and commercial markets for over a decade.
Life's a sprint, and you need a quick pick-me-up. Meet G2G protein bars, the ultimate grab-and-go meal replacement. Whether you're hustling in the office, enjoying a day on the links, or conquering the daily grind, G2G is your perfect fuel. Score an 8-pack at your local Costco's refrigerated section or explore amazing flavors at G2GBar.com. Quick, delicious, and power-packed. G2G protein bars, setting the pace for your energetic lifestyle.
Parents, we need to talk about teen violence. It's hurting our kids and our communities.
Seeing how violence impacts our kids is heartbreaking. We need to step up.
It affects everyone. So when it comes to teen violence videos, do the right thing. Report it. Don't repost.
The Maricopa County Attorney's Office is committed to keeping our community safe and free from teen violence. Let's work together to report videos of violence instead of reposting them. Together, we can create a safer community.
He's texting him right now.
It's time for the Cocoa 5 Suns Hardwood Report. Remember, Cocoa 5 is your go-to electrolyte-packed active hydration drink, perfect for athletes and active individuals of all levels and ages. Whether you're hitting the court or working out in the gym, Cocoa 5 helps you stay hydrated and ready to perform at your best. You can grab it at Fry's, Sprouts, Target, Walmart, and at Cocoa5.com. Now,
No, I didn't.
Right into
Is it on the top?
Updates and highlights with the Suns.
All right, everybody, welcome back in. Roc and Manuch, Jimmy B, with Jackson Connor today, and we roll all the way until 4 o'clock. Diamondbacks are in progress right now against the New York Mets, and there is no score, and they are playing in the bottom of the third inning, D-backs and Mets. And if you're interested in that game, you can find them on 98.7, Arizona's sports station, also on television, the Diamondbacks TV network. So right now, no score in the bottom of the third inning. So our Cocoa 5 Hardwood Report brought to you by Cocoa 5. It is 6 refreshing, all natural flavors without dyes, caffeine, or anything that I can't pronounce, and less than half the sugar of popular hydration and sports drinks. Now, look, it's perfect to rehydrate and recharge muscles for people of all ages. And Cocoa 5's majority owner and ambassador, the Suns' Devin Booker. Cocoa 5. It's available at grocery stores around the valley and always online at cocoa5.com. That is cocoa5.com. All right, so yesterday, the brand new general manager of the Suns, Brian Gregory, met the news media. And so we listened to it. We're going to play a lot of the clips a little later on here in the show. But I found it interesting that it lasted as long as it did. I kind of thought, be honest with you, Jax, it might be 15, 20 minutes. Okay, get them out of here. But they went a lot longer, and they took more questions than I thought that they would as well.
Yeah, and I give credit to the media members out there who asked questions that were stern about, why is he in this role? And he kept mentioning the 30 years of basketball experience and mentioned his relationship with Matt Ishbia being a main part of getting the job. I don't know how I feel about him mentioning the relationship because we've been around the business and we've seen certain jobs how, certain people aren't qualified in position, but they know somebody to get in there. It's not about what you do. It's about who you know. And for Brian Gregory, for him to introduce himself, and he kind of just repeated himself over and over again, talking about alignment, and he emphasized alignment across the organization, especially between the front office and the next head coach. So real interested to see what moves, in the head coaching thing. I do like that he said we're going to take our time and not rush the process, as you should. You failed the last 2 years. Him being around the organization the last year and a half, hopefully he's learned something that he can apply to while he's a general manager. It's just going to be a weird dynamic, I think, for him to be in charge while also replying to Matt Ishbia and then having former GM James Jones in the building and Josh Barlstein. I just don't know how that dynamic is going to work. When their opinions, do you take them? How much of their opinions do you take, or do you kind of go into your own opinion and lean on what you want for this organization?
If you're the general manager and you're looking to carve out your own area, wouldn't you kind of move in the direction that you think is best and not taking information from, and I hate to use this, but taking information from somebody who has failed in the first 2 years?
I mean, yeah, that's what you would think. But working what he mentioned yesterday, talking with Borlstein, saying that he has a good relationship with him, that he will be involved in the whole process. You wonder, I mean, that's what you would think it would be. You hope that he has his own opinion. But a guy that hasn't been in that position before, he's probably going to lean on some of those other people, maybe a little bit, to get some advice in that specific role as a GM.
I find it. I'm going to be very curious to see how this dynamic plays out. I really am. Because is he going to go to James Jones all the time, who now is a senior advisor, and ask James, what do you think of this? What do you think of this? Should I do this? Should I do that? Or are you going to make your own decisions and go to Matt Ishbia and say, this is the direction which I think is best for this team? I just find it's a dichotomy of mystery is what it is. And I find it fascinating. I really do. And I just think that, I mean, it's not going to play out here for some time because they're not going to hire a coach here in the next couple of weeks. This is going to take some time before they name a new coach. And if indeed you are a veteran coach, do you come in here knowing what has happened in the first 2 years? To me, if you're an assistant, you would jump at the job because you're an assistant and you want to be a head coach. So what happened the first 2 years is not going to matter to you. But if you're a guy who has been around, had some success, do you jump at the chance knowing that you might be gone in 1 year?
Yeah, that's definitely a dynamic and something that, you know, the last two head coaches, the reputation of that is going to be applied for the next head coach hired. He also mentioned in his press conference some traits that he sought out for the next head coach. High basketball IQ, he referred to a strong communicator, aligned with Suns' physical, tough identity seen across recent NBA playoff trends.
Wait a minute, let me stop you right there. What was that again? Physical identity? They have no physical identity. They are not a physical team. They have to get to that physicality. They are not a physical team. And if you're telling me the general manager is already thinking that the current Phoenix Suns are physical, well, I'm telling you right now, we're in trouble.
Yeah.
Because they are not a physical team.
Yeah, well, hopefully a guy can come in and make them physical. But you're right. I mean, a lot of guys slacking on defense, and especially when the playoffs were out of sorts, it got worse throughout the end of the season. And he mentioned also willing and able to hold players accountable. I also thought it was interesting, too, how he mentioned he had dinner with Bradley Beal last night.
Right.
And they also, when he got the job, Kevin Durant gave him a big old hug. So that to me is a little interesting. And I don't know how he's going to work, because I think everyone assumes that Kevin Durant is going to be traded because of the assets that they do not have and him prioritizing the draft. And he kept mentioning over and over again and how he oversaw the 2024 draft last year, talking about he was a key role in selecting Ryan Dunn and Oso Ighodaro. To my understanding, they only have 3 picks from now until 2031.
That is correct.
They have 2 this year, and then I think in 2026, and then about 4 drafts with no picks. So they need to get assets. A team that I'm really interested to, I know the Rockets have been connected. Depending on what happens with the Thunder, we'll see what happens with them too. But they're a team that has a lot of picks. Could you say, hey, Kevin Durant, we're going to trade you to the OKC Thunder, bring you back to that organization where you have a lot of boat picks? Because that's all they need, Jimmy B. They need to grab picks, especially if you're going to prioritize the draft.
Yes.
You have to go out and get at least 3 or 4 first-round picks in return. But him being a first-time GM, I have a hard feeling, and I have a reality that he's going to get lowballed and not get what they expect. And I think the Suns are probably going to be the outside looking in terms of trades for Kevin Durant.
You don't have any capital. You're negotiating from a bad place because everybody knows, okay, you're going to try to unload Durant and Beal. First off, nobody wants Beal. Not just because of his contract, but he's also hurt all the time. So nobody's interested in him. So you'll get something for Durant, but if they know that you are peddling to get exactly what you just talked about, some draft capital, they're going to lowball you like crazy. And it may get to the point, and I've thought about this last night over a 7-7. So I do my best thinking when that time, that they're going to get calls. And they're going to get calls about Durant. And the calls are going to be, we'll give you a bag of balls and some hopscotch trinkets and a bag of nuts for Kevin Durant. And my point is, if that's the case, he's still going to be on this team next year. He's still going to be on this team next year. And the only way that you'll be able to do anything is if you can waive and extend the contract of Bradley Beal and try to get him off the roster and hope that somebody takes him. As you're going to be paying the majority of his salary.
Yeah, I do wonder if they were able to keep Kevin Durant another year, how this roster would look. But we've seen that the last 2 years when you have Kevin Durant, you have Devin Booker, you have Bradley Beal, all these big contracts, and they have failed to grab guys around them. And to their credit, they don't have any wiggle room because you're getting a bunch of vet minimum guys because you don't have a lot of money.
Right.
So to your credit, I wouldn't mind Kevin Durant staying another year.
Okay.
If Bradley Beal were to get exited. And that, to me, they're going to have to eat a lot of money. They're going to have to probably give up some of those draft picks in order to get rid of them because you're right. They have no leverage in a terrible deal with a guy that gets injured all the time. You wonder, because I think everyone assumes that he's just going to get traded. You wonder if somehow, some way, Gregory in the back of his mind, and maybe even Devin Booker and Kevin Durant do want to try to make it work another year, that he'll return to the Valley. So
I just wonder if indeed they can find a decent trade partner. And it's interesting because the talking heads on television, well, look what happened to the Rockets. They need a guy like Durant, and they could offer up Jabari Smith or Jalen Green and some draft picks for him. Do you think that that's going to be their initial offer? That is not going to be their initial offer. They're going to offer lousy stuff. When I say lousy, players that are not as comparable as Durant, and try to get the sweetest deal they possibly can because the Suns are not dealing with any strength. You have no strength in negotiations other than you are offering up one of still the premier scorers in the NBA in Kevin Durant. He is that. And he will get you buckets. And if you're a team like Houston, like Golden State, where he did not want to go, he nixed that deal. He did not want to go back there. You referenced OKC. He doesn't want any part of OKC. I can tell you right now, that would not be something that would probably work. So I know the Knicks would have interest in him. As well. He might consider going to the New York Knicks, but what are you going to get from the Knicks? They don't have a lot of capital either that would, blow your skirt up to get you excited to make that trade.
Yeah, they just got rid of a bunch of first-round picks for Mikal Bridges.
There you go. That was just going to say that. Very good, Jax. Nice. So, look, it's going to be difficult. And people think, well, we'll just trade him. You got to have a partner to trade. You can't dance by yourself. Got to have a partner. So it's going to be really interesting to see how this all plays out. That is indeed our Cocoa 5 Suns Hardwood Report. All right, coming up on Roc and Manuch and Jimmy B, we're going to get to a little on this day and also some football at 50. And I'm telling you this right now, you are going to be so bummed on what the Los Angeles Rams are going to do for 3 days. That's a tease. Wait till you hear this. Roc and Manuch with Jimmy B. Jackson Connor here today, right here, ESPN 620.
Twin Peaks is the best in the game. Here, your favorite drafts are poured at a frosty 29 degrees, and rare barrel-aged whiskeys are served just the way you want them. It's bigger game days and bolder fight nights. I mean, where else can you find a scratch kitchen that always comes in clutch every day from lunch to late night? Only at Twin Peaks, the #1 sports bar.
Twin Peaks Scratch Kitchen scores every time. Dig
Hey,
into
Connor,
smashed burgers.
can you
chef-inspired
see if you
flatbreads,
can
and
find
more.
Bartolo Cologne's home run? If you just type it in, Bartolo Cologne, it'll pop right up. If we could play that audio.
Drivers and customer service personnel enjoy benefits like the state's most advanced towing equipment, set work schedules, a healthy 401k employer match, health benefits, employer paid life insurance, and a monthly fuel allowance. Ready to take your career to the next level? Visit us at allcitytowing.com. All City Towing, where your future is on the move.
I was in a wreck. I need a check.
Turner and Rose, it's a way to go.
I was in a wreck. I need a check.
Turner and Rose, it's a way to go.
I was in a wreck. I need a check.
Turner and Rose, it's a way to go.
I'm Kevin Rowe from Lerner and Rowe, and we've been serving Arizonans for 20 years. Make the best choice after an accident. Call 977-1900. That's 977-1900.
Yeah, that's it, Padres. Yeah, he hits it down the left field line. That's perfect. Thank you.
Hey, Max, you look sharp in that purple tie. Ready to harness the world as a guide dog?
You bet, Daisy. And your purple service dog vest really pops against your shiny fur.
First day on the job for both of us. We've got this, right?
You bet. Dogs Inc. trained us well.
Ready to make a difference for our humans?
Born ready.
Discover how extraordinary guide and service dogs change lives at no cost to the recipient. Visit dogsinc.org.
My name is Mary Grace. I lost my mom to Alzheimer's in 2017, and 2 months after losing her, my dad was diagnosed. The earlier the diagnosis you have, the more time you have with your loved one. With my dad, now that I know what's coming, I'm able to create memories not only for him, but for myself. So when he can't remember, I'll remember for him.
For more information, contact us at alz.org or through the 24/7 helpline at 800-272-3900. Sponsored by the Alzheimer's Association.
Moving Day, a walk for Parkinson's, is happening around the country this spring. More than just a walk, Moving Day is a fun experience that unites the community in the fight against Parkinson's disease. Parkinson's doesn't stop, and neither will we. So let's get moving. Join the Parkinson's Foundation to learn more and register for an event in your area at movingdaywalk.org. That's movingdaywalk.org.
Roc and Manuch with Jimmy B want to take you back. A quick reflection on some of the more memorable moments in sports and pop culture. Now, time for your Right Toyota On This Day report. Right Toyota, right on the corner, right on the price. Right Toyota in Scottsdale.
All right, we always love doing this segment, and this one is particularly fun because with the Mets playing the Diamondbacks on Getaway Day, it does feature a former Met. So we will take you back to 2016. This guy is like the Pillsbury Doughboy. He looks like the Michelin Tire Man. And at age 42, pitcher Bartolo Colon in San Diego against the Padres, and he's playing for the Mets, did this.
Colon looking for his first hit of the year.
Oh, drives one. Deep left field. That goes Upton. Back to the wall. It's out of here. Bartolo has done it. The impossible has happened.
The impossible. Bartolo Colon, who had a batting average of less than 100, hits a dinger down the left field line, and you can hear the reaction on the call. That took place in 2016, Jax.
It's incredible. Old guys doing things that they would have done probably easier when they were younger, but him to do it at 42, it's insane.
It was insane, and it was a lot of fun. Really was. That is our on this day report. All right, Jax, what else you got there? 2017.
2017 in a nationally televised Sunday night game. The Yankees defeat the Cubs 5-4 in 18 innings at Wrigley Field. The longest interleague game in history.
Wow.
Features a record of 48 strikeouts, 26 by the Yankees pitchers, 22 by the Cubs. New York seems to find a way to victory in 4-1 at the lead of the ninth, where Aroldis Chapman allows 3 runs, the last on bases hits by pitch, I should say, of Anthony Rizzo.
Unbelievable.
Don't remember that game at all, Jimmy B. Do you?
No. I don't. So obviously it was the Sunday night game, and I might have been busy. So, I mean, it's not like I watch every Major League Baseball game, even back in 2017. A presentation, by the way, of On This Day by G2G Protein Bars, and you can find them in the refrigerated section at Costco and online at g2gbar.com. And right now, free shipping for all orders over $50. And for first-timers, get 15% off. Here's all you have to do. Just go to g2gbar.com. That is g2gbar.com. All right, let's do a little football at 50. What did the Steelers and Cowboys do, Jens?
We have a trade. Just a week and a half after the NFL draft, the Cowboys will receive wide receiver George Pickens and a 2027 sixth-round pick. In exchange, the Steelers will receive a 2026 third-round pick and a 2027 fifth-round pick. Why does this matter for Dallas? The search for a wide receiver one opposite of CeeDee Lamb is now over. This gives Dallas, in my opinion, the best wide receiver duo they've had since Lamb and Amari Cooper back in 2020, 2021. Now, as you know, the Cowboys did not draft a receiver in the 2025 NFL draft class. They targeted Tedero McMillan at 12, but he went earlier at 8 to Carolina. So in Pickens' circumstance, enters the last year of his rookie deal. The Cowboys reportedly won't extend right now. They'll play out 2025 and see if they want to extend them after that. In 2024, Pickens, 59 catches, 900 yards, and 3 touchdowns, only missed 3 games for the Steelers. And for his career since 2023 with the Steelers, he had 2,040 yards receiving, which was most of any Steelers player. So he's now just one of 2 NFL receivers with 2,000 yards and 16 yards per reception in the past 2 seasons alongside DK Metcalf. So now the Steelers have DK Metcalf, and now the receiver room is Calvin Austin III, Roman Wilson,
Okay.
Robert Woods, Scotty Miller, and Ben Skoranek. But I throw it to you, Mr. Cowboys fan, Connor Collins.
Yes.
How do you feel about this move? With your Dallas Cowboys, your pretty cowgirl is getting another pretty wide receiver in George Pickens.
I'm pretty happy. I know there's a lot of talk about a guy like George Pickens and the character concerns, but one thing that people don't talk about is what the character concerns are. Yeah, he gets a little hot-headed, but to be honest, I'm okay with that. It's been a long time since the Dallas Cowboys had somebody like Dez Bryant who really had that passion on the field, who really was going to come at you every single play. And don't get me wrong, I love Micah Parsons, love CeeDee Lamb and Trayvon, but we got a lot of TikTokers and podcasters on the team right now. I'm glad that we're going to get a guy like George Pickens who's going to come in, kind of turn the intensity up in training camp. You know, this stuff when it comes to the off the field, he might be late to a practice. He might be late to a meeting. That happens. You know, you don't want to deal with that all the time. But this is a guy who's going into a contract year. He's going to be a free agent at the end of the season. So if there was ever a reason for him to be on his best behavior and put out his best statistical season, that would be the time to do so.
There you go. From Cowboy fan Connor on the latest trade, George Pickens from the Steelers to the Cowboys. Now, to the big news. If you are a Los Angeles Rams fan and you want to do something in the middle of June, like go to Hawaii, guess what? The Rams are going to do 4 days in Maui. 4 days in Maui with the rookies in mid-June for their training camp. Now, how do I get that gig? I mean, that's a great gig. If you're a media guy, you get to go along on that trip. Come on.
Yeah, it's funny. The comments are hilarious. They say, Field Yates saying, hey, ESPN, if you need someone to go and cover, I got you. Daryl Oskey's alongside him. He said, I can also team up with you. I'll be there in Maui. I mean, what a tremendous idea with Sean McVay and, the general manager they have there, too. I mean, what a team and a coach and a culture that why would you not want to go over there and play for the Rams? They treat them kind of like a vacation stay. I'm sure with them going out to Maui, they probably won't bring their family as well. So it's great camaraderie with their team because you got to think too in the NFL, Jimmy, like it's not college where a lot of these kids, a lot of these grown men, I should say, they've got families. This is a job for them. Yeah. So not a lot of them hang out outside of the facility. You know, they got to go back to their family and it's kind of a business for them. For the Rams, you can tell they're a tight-knit team. This will definitely allow that to happen. And man, I mean, if you're a Maui, if you live in Maui and the Rams are coming there and you're a Rams fan, you got to be ecstatic
I hate to interrupt. I gotta know though. Is there a reason why? Because Jimmy, because I'm Cowboy Boy, right?
Yeah.
We just had to postpone our rookie mini training camp because we got to do the ACA Country Music Awards, right? So what's going on in LA where everyone's going to Maui? Did I miss something there?
All right, so let me ask our listeners: go to the ACA Music Awards or go to Maui for 4 or 5 days.
How did they swing that? Man, Dallas had to go play at like some high schools.
Well, they are owned by one of the wealthiest owners in Stan Kroenke. You got to remember that. So, look, he has all that Walmart money, and so they can pretty much do whatever they want to do. So it is the Rams headed to Maui in June. I found it interesting, Jax, that you had Field Yates on there and some of the other talking heads saying, hey, I'll carry the bags. I'll do whatever you want me to do. Can I get on the flight? Anything to get that flight to Maui. It's going to be a lot of fun.
Reminds me of Colin Joust there when they were doing the Olympics, and he was like, oh, man, poor me. I'm just out here covering the surfing in the middle of the Bahamas, probably. Man, who would want to do that, guys? Who'd want to go to Hawaii and cover football?
Okay, Hawaii or the ACAs? There you go. That's a toss-up. I can tell you that right now. Football at 50, it's presented by Twin Peaks. And by the way, cool moms love the Lodge, so show your appreciation this Mother's Day by treating your mom to specials on some of our favorites all day long, including mimosas, sangria, and so much more. It's Twin Peaks. Eats, drinks, scenic views. By the way, we will be at the Tempe Twin Peaks tomorrow doing the show. Rock, myself, Jax, whole gang's going to be hanging out there once again from 1 to 4 at the Tempe Marketplace. Twin Peaks is where we will be tomorrow once again in Tempe. All right, coming up in our next hour, we're going to have a conversation with a player who is in the portal, now out of the portal. He is moving to ASU. That's coming up in hour number 2. Also, our campus quickies as well at 2:30. It's Roc and Manuch with Jimmy B right here, ESPN 620, 98.7 HD2.
Get ready for Camping World's Red, White, and New trade event, May 15th through the 18th. Get the highest value for your RV guaranteed during the biggest RV trade event of the year. Shop the best RV deals in America with new RVs starting as low as $92 a month. Get ready for the holiday weekend with up to 45% off grills and 25% off product installation. Plus,
I told Jimmy that he didn't come out of the portal.
Free food and fun for the whole family. Don't miss the incredible Red,
He got
White,
recruited
and
out
New
of
trade
JUCO,
event, May 15th
buddy.
through the 18th at your local Camping World.
Hey, Green Gobbler here. So you've got a clogged drain in your bathroom. Water in the sink's overstaying its welcome. You're spitting today's toothpaste on top of yesterday's toothpaste. You hope that it go away. Yeah, clogs don't just go away. I make them go away. I'm Green Gobbler, the only clog dissolver you need. I'm bleach-free, safe for your pipes, and I work. Guaranteed or your money back. Because I never met a clog that was going to unclog itself. Green Gobbler. Let the gobbler get it.
Patrick was way behind on his IRS taxes.
I was in way over my head, and the total amount ended up being somewhere just over $30,000. $30,000.
Then the IRS came to collect.
Started getting letter after letter. A lien had been filed against me. They were going to basically hang me completely out to dry.
He had to do something.
That's when I reached out to Optima Tax Relief.
Patrick's life quickly got a lot easier.
It was very easy, pretty much hands off. They picked up the ball and ran with it.
And how'd it go?
I couldn't believe it. I had to ask 2 or 3 times. I saved an incredible amount of money.
How does Patrick feel about Optima?
Couldn't be happier. They definitely helped me. Optima Tax Relief, the best place to call. They're the best in the business.
Do what Patrick did and call Optima Tax Relief for a free consultation. Call 800-343-6460. 800-343-6460. 800-343-6460.
Optima Tax Relief.
Testimonial from an actual client. Some restrictions apply. For complete details, please visit.
I'd be down. We know more than Jimmy.
Hey, Arizona, it's Mike Wilbon. I've been around sports professionally and personally for a long, long time. And whether you're on a court, in the gym, or just navigating a tough day, you need to stay hydrated. That's where Cocoa 5 comes in. Cocoa 5 isn't your average sports drink, packed with the electrolytes your body craves, but without the artificial junk you don't need. Available at your favorite stores, Cocoa 5, active hydration. Stay hydrated, Arizona.
Need to feed a crowd? Let Venencia's bring the flavor to your next event. We know you have a lot of options when feeding a large group. Ordering directly from Venencia's means you get the best service and the absolute best pricing. There's no per-person fee. Just tell us how many people you need to feed, and we'll come up with the perfect plan to ensure everyone's well-fed and happy. Grad party, office celebration, family reunion. Invite Venencia's to the table.
I can do it. Yeah,
Catering
yeah.
to 411 24/7. That's catering to 411 247 or Venencias.com.
KTAR AM Phoenix, Arizona's home for the worldwide leader in sports, is ESPN 620. And now, an on-air sports marketing presentation. It's Roc and Manuch with Jimmy B, now on ESPN 620, 98.7 FM HD2, and streaming live at arizonasports.com. The guys are powered by the law offices of Lerner and Rowe. In a wreck and need a check? Make one call, that's all. 602-977-1900. And now on your ESPN station in Phoenix, ESPN 620, Roc and Manuch with Jimmy B.
Hey, everybody, second hour as we roll all the way till 4 o'clock. Baseball game continuing downtown Chase Field. Top of the sixth inning. No score between the Mets and the Diamondbacks. No score. Top of the sixth. You can listen to the game on our sister station at 98.7. All right, we're going to talk some football, some ASU football. And one of the top JUCO players in the country has decided that he is going to go to ASU. So Kenny Dillingham and his staff apparently have done it again.
Yeah, Joshua Shanklin joins us on the right Toyota guest line. Josh, welcome to the Valley. How stoked are you? I know you probably get asked this all the time about coming to Arizona State over the other schools that offered you.
Yeah, it's really all a blessing for her. Like, still taking in everything, just coming from JUCO and everything. It's really a blessing to be part of the next level, you know?
Yeah, 100%. 6'4", 220 is what it has here, registered 14 and a half sacks out of JUCO. I want to go back to high school. How was your high school recruitment? In a JUCO in today's college football with the transfer portal and stuff, not a lot of people come out of there because people are looking at the transfer portal or high school. How was your high school recruitment and what ultimately led you to Foothill College?
Really didn't get the opportunity I felt like I deserved. Like playing high school, that's when I first transitioned to playing DN. That was my senior year, my first year playing DN, and I had 10 sacks and a bunch of TFLs, and I thought ultimately I was going to get an opportunity. But my high school coach, he was just trust the process and trust God, and ultimately he knew my junior college coach, so he came to McClymonds, and that's how I ended up at Foothill. He recruited me from there, and then really just took the process of going to JUCO. I redshirted my first year, just sat out, wanted to get bigger, faster, and stronger. And then just being on the sideline, watching the games, I just got hungry. And then the second year I came back, became one of the captains on the team, and ultimately balled out and became one of the top recruits in junior college.
Joshua, you had a lot of people after you, Missouri, West Virginia, Ole Miss, UCLA. What changed your mind to go to ASU? How did Kenny Dillingham and his staff convince you the Sun Devils was the best place?
It really just felt like home. Like when I first met the coaches in person, because we had conversations over the phone, but that could only go so far. But just meeting them in person, they was all genuine. They was just being themselves. They didn't try to put on a facade and just try to convince you that, we need you, we want you. But they just made me feel like home, and feel like this is a place I could come in, develop, and become a star player, and develop me into the pro athlete that they think I could be.
Joshua, the junior college experience in California is a little bit different. For those who are unaware, there are no scholarships and things like that. Talk about some of the experiences that you had to endure as a junior college athlete in California and how that helped shape you ready to make this decision to come to the Valley with Arizona State.
It really just made me more determined and made me want it more because, as you know, I live in East Oakland, California. Like, and my school is about like a 45 to an hour drive. So just taking that drive and putting in the work every day, it just made me hungry. It just made me want it more.
You got any funny Kenny Dillingham stories? Because I mean, there's got to be something that he said to you to recruit you. Because me and Connor, we played in college, and I always tell people all the time that there's two head coaches I'd go back and play for. It'd be Dan Lanning in Oregon, and it would be Kenny Dillingham. Just the fire energy out of him, and you wouldn't expect him being kind of a little guy. But what specifically did he say anything to you, or any type of funny stories that he had on your visit to ASU?
Not necessarily. It was just. When we was at dinner, we just had good conversations. Like, it wasn't even just about football. It was just anything. Like, we was talking about movies, stuff like that. Just having good conversations. And then at the meeting, at the little head coach meeting I had with him, it was just great energy, good vibes. Like, all the coaches was just super respectful, and they were about business.
And Joshua, just for some of the fans who are excited to have you coming out here, what are the type of player that they can expect that you're going to be bringing? Are you somebody who is more of a pass rusher? Are you a set run first type of guy? What's the kind of player that Sun Devil fans can get excited for?
They could just get ready to see it all. Like, I'm very versatile. I could rush the passer. I could drop in the coverage, and just being the JUCO kid, they just don't see how much of a dog I am. Like, they don't know how bad I want it for real.
Did you just say that you could jump into coverage as well?
Yeah, because I play linebacker a little bit at Foothill.
Did you really? Okay, what's your speed then? You could cover a back coming out or a tight end?
I could cover anybody they want me to. That's it.
Yeah.
I like this guy.
I love the excitement there.
Yeah.
Did you watch the college football playoff with Arizona State? And was that your kind of first eye on them, or have you always had a history of watching Arizona State football in the past?
No, I always had an eye on it. It's just it was just like the energy. Like I don't play for names. I play for a school that's going to develop me to be who I need to be.
And you want to be an NFL player.
You know that.
All right. With Cam Scadaboo and the things that he accomplished last year and getting drafted by the Giants, that had to be impressive to you as well.
Yeah, just seeing how they transfer what they say. Like, they're not just all talk, like they prove it with the people that they produce.
It's great to have you on the show, pal. Thank you for coming on. And when do you expect to get on campus?
I believe early July.
Okay.
I got to finish up my quarter at Foothill.
It'll be fun to watch you do your thing. Thank you for picking ASU. We'll look forward to meeting you. Thank you, Joshua.
Yes, sir. Appreciate the time.
There you go. That is the brand new recruit, #1 player in JUCO as the edge rusher. That's pretty good.
You didn't have to cut the interview off there, Jimmy. We had about a couple more questions, but I guess we got to let him go a little early. You don't want to have him too much time there. I just find it fascinating. I mean, Connor, too, being out of JUCO, like, that's not easy life for him not to have a scholarship, and for him to kind of talk about how he picked up a defensive end in his last year and didn't feel like he, got recruited the way he was able to. He took a step back, redshirt out of JUCO, watching everybody play while he got faster and got his work ethic higher and get stronger. And I'm excited to see him. It seems like he's just a guy that's all football, nothing else. And he's not going to get into the drama or the parties and the glamorous thing. He's just kind of that hard-nosed, rugged guy. You could tell just even hearing a 7-minute interview about him.
So one thing that he was talking about there that I think, it really kind of hit close to home for me as well is, this is a guy who's talking about having to commute 45 minutes to an hour plus every single day to get to school. I know at one point I actually went to a sister school to Foothill. I went to De Anza Junior College out there in California. There was a point where I was driving about an hour and a half each day just with traffic, things like that. And that's to get to your school. That's to get to your practice. And then coming home, you're dealing with that same thing. A lot of people, if you told them you were spending 3 hours a day in a traffic commute, they look at you crazy. But when you hear some of these guys and the drive that they have, that motivation, motivation factor, that's the type of player that I'm excited that Coach Dillingham is bringing in. Somebody who's willing to do the extra work and take the extra steps to find a way to be great. So I'm excited. This was a great get in my opinion.
So if you're going to get judged out of JUCO in California, what level would you say that is? How good a football is it?
Well, to be honest with you, we didn't get there, but he's playing in the Basics Conference, which is one of the best conferences in the entire country. Okay. You're talking about schools like College of San Mateo, who's won the California championship probably 4 out of the last 5 years. You're looking at College of San Francisco, that used to be that powerhouse for a long time. We're talking about Butte, where Aaron Rodgers played. There's a lot of these schools that hold a lot of weight and get guys to the next level. So very competitive conference that he was competing in.
I think him getting recruited by Arizona State and Dillingham, and him talking about how the biggest thing that he took from Dillingham was him not talking about football and him wanting to know what's your favorite movie, what are your favorite shows, him being relatable like that. You could tell just how good of a recruiter that Dillingham is. They hired this guy out of Arizona State. I mean, he picked up Arizona State after taking official visits to Missouri. I'm sure Ole Miss was tempting, and the pass rushers that they can produce every year, and even UCLA to be able to stay home. Instead, he decides to go to the ASU Sun Devils. A huge get for Kenny Dillingham, and a guy I mentioned it over and over again. Two coaches, Dan Lanning and Kenny Dillingham. In today's era of the NIL and college football, you have to be relatable to these young recruits. And for Kenny Dillingham being a younger coach, sure, the older heads probably have a more advantage of him for football knowledge, but a guy that can relate to his players, a huge get. I'm excited to see. This is a guy that just wants to play football. You could tell that he's going to go in and make a big impression. 6'4", 220, 14.5 sacks. It's going to be fun to see what he can do at Arizona State.
I'm with you on that 100%. Quickly updating right now, Mets and the Arizona Diamondbacks, they are in the bottom of the 6th inning, 1-0 in favor of the Mets as we speak. Hey, our top stories and that great interview presented today by Network Automotive Centers. Now, if you're looking for a reliable auto repair, look no further than Network Automotive Service Centers with 6 locations across Arizona. Now, they're your trusted experts for maintenance and repairs. They're family owned, and they've been so for over 30 years. And they like to treat you like you're in their family. So they are located in Apache Junction, Gilbert, Prescott, Queen Creek, and 2 locations in Mesa. You need help? Get help. Network Automotive, where your satisfaction is 100% guaranteed, and you can find them on the web, networkautomotive.com. Again, that is networkautomotive.com. All right, coming up, we're going to get into some of the sound from the Suns general manager yesterday, that, of course, being Brian Gregory. Roc and Manuch with Jimmy B, ESPN 620, 98.7 HD2 on the FM dial.
Introducing Baja Riba, premium tequila found at Albertsons, Safeway, and your favorite restaurants. Crafted for 100% blue Weber agave, Baja Riba offers an authentic sipping experience. With 88 years of tradition, our master distiller creates smooth flavors of baked agave, white pepper, and citrus zest. And don't miss our stunning handcrafted bottle, winner of the 2022 Bottle of the Year by Tequila Aficionado magazine. Discover the artistry of Baja Riba tequila, one of the finest in the world.
I'd rather have you talk about that conference than him because you explained it so well. It works better radio-wise.
Order a 29-degree draft beer and a quickie combo on your lunch break. Only at Twin Peaks, the #1 sports bar.
Are you looking for a job where you can have a ton of fun and make great money? Twin Peaks is the team for you. We're looking for Twin Peaks girls, cooks, bussers, barbacks, and more. Text WORK4TP to 85,000 to apply.
Get ready, Arizona. The Rattlers are back for the 2025 season inside Desert Diamond Arena. Experience the hard hits, high energy, and nonstop action of indoor football like never before inside the Snake Pit. Lock in your season tickets, bring the crew for group nights, or keep it flexible with Rattlers Flex Packs. There's something for every fan. The turf is heating up. Are you ready to strike? Visit azrattlers.com today and secure your seats before they're gone.
Remember when things were built to last? Well, at Arizona Patio Furniture, we've been handcrafting premium outdoor furniture and custom cushions for over 15 years, right here in Phoenix, using 100% American-made materials. We build it, we sell it, we guarantee it with our exclusive 5-year plus worry-free warranty. Visit any one of our Three Valley showrooms or go to ArizonaPatioFurniture.com. Mention this ad for free delivery and setup in Maricopa County. Arizona Patio Furniture. Some things are still made like they used to be.
You're invited to Vans Golf Shops for the Mother's Day sale this 5th through the 11th. Book a free club fitting for mom. For all apparel, 20% off. Starter sets over $299 are 15% off. And swing by the shoe wall to get an additional 20% off all Green Tag women's shoes. Vans Golf Shops is your home for the best Mother's Day gifts this year. Trusted by golfers since 1963 and home to the legendary 90-day satisfaction guarantee. Get there.
Did you know that everyday conversations can help your children build math skills? Discovering numbers and shapes with your children in any language is a great way to make math fun. When you get excited about pointing and counting or comparing shapes, your child will love to learn math, and they are never too young to start. Visit talkingisteaching.org/resources/math for free videos, tips, and guides to transform everyday moments into magical moments for math.
It's Roc and Manuch with Jimmy B on their new home, ESPN 620.
It's about building that alignment. It's about creating that identity. And it's about executing that vision. And for me, that's why I'm here, to do exactly that.
Welcome back, everybody. Roc and Manuch with Jimmy B. We roll till 4 o'clock. That is Brian Gregory from yesterday's news conference. The Suns paraded out their brand new general manager and counting up the entire times that he said alignment. So, guys, here we go. And we are just going to play some clips. All right. We're not running the entire news presser. Yeah, just some clips. Okay. So we're going to let Brian Gregory begin. And every time I brought in a bottle of Wild Turkey, every time he says alignment, we got to take a shot.
Why do you say Wild Turkey? Why can't you just say like a bottle of wine? What's Wild Turkey?
Whiskey.
Oh, that works. I'm good with whiskey.
Oh, man. I got to talk to this boy. We got to close the microphones. Dad has to have a conversation with the boy here.
Well, you act like you drink all the time, Jimmy B. There's no way.
I don't. I know liquor.
Nobody knows what Wild Turkey is.
Yes, they do. Yeah. I bet you had shots of Wild Turkey in college.
I know about the Wild Turkey.
See, there you go. Yeah, he knows what I'm talking about.
He's got a full ass beer. So
yeah, that's a sad road you got to go down when the turkey starts gobbling.
That's it. You got it. All right, let's begin then with Brian Gregory from yesterday. And these clips, thank you to Arizona Sports Station. Here's his opening comments.
General manager of the Phoenix Suns. In this unbelievable community with a great fan base. The Phoenix Suns, one of the greatest franchise in the NBA. 30 years of basketball has brought me to this position, and I'm excited about this opportunity that's in front of me. Been very, very pleased with the roles that I've played in this organization over the last 2 years. I love Phoenix. I love the community. And I'm very, very excited about what's next and what we're going to build here.
All right, that was his opening statement. Now, here we go. Now he gets into having the owner of the team, Matt Ishbia, and the trust factor.
I'd like to thank, obviously, our owner, Matt Ishbia, for this tremendous, tremendous opportunity. I understand that Matt has trusted me with the responsibility of building alignment within this organization, and also with the opportunity to shape our identity as we continue to move forward. It's a responsibility that I take very seriously, but it's one that also really, really puts me in a position where I'm excited about the next step.
All right, so everybody has to take a shot. Wild turkey. We heard it right there in that. In that one. Okay, next one. Here he is again, discussing the Suns.
You know, I never talk regarding players, contracts, movement, anything like that. I will tell you this. I have a very, very good relationship with both those guys. My main focus right now, to be honest with you, is finding the right head coach for those guys. That's and getting prepared for the draft.
All right, so there it is right there, getting prepared for the draft and his thoughts on Kevin Durant and Bradley Beal. You had a great point where he had conversations with both players, Jack.
Yeah. He talked about how he had, when he got the job of being general manager, Durant gave him a hug, and then how he had a lunch or dinner last night, or the night before, I should say, had his press conference yesterday with Bradley Beal. Don't know what that entailed, but I'm sure the two are probably talking about certain situations where they do want to get him traded. I just don't see a world, Jimmy B, where this big three runs it back. If they do, I think it would be idiotic by Brian Gregory. But if he wants to emphasize the draft and them going and picking up vet minimum guys, then be my guest. But I think the future of the Suns has got to be relying on what they could do with those two guys to try to get assets and repair the mistakes that they made of acquiring those two. Because let's be honest, it's not working. The big three is not working.
It didn't work.
And they've got to get something for those players.
And let me go back and reiterate what I said when all of this started to take shape. I enjoyed and respected the fact that the new owner, Matt Ishbia, came in and swinging from his cleats, trying to knock it out of the park. And I do not take anything away from him for giving it that sort of college try. He went for it. It just didn't work. So now that it didn't work, now it is up to you, Matt Ishbia, and to your new general manager, Brian Gregory, to get it fixed. So the first thing they have to do, find a new head coach.
Obviously, my main focus right now is hiring the next head coach of the Phoenix Sun and hiring a great one. We are doing an extensive process in that right now. I'm not going to give a timetable because I want to make sure that we get this right. This is very, very critical for us moving forward. Finding that head coach that is aligned. Finding that head coach that has the attributes that are important to us.
All right, there's a line again, so everybody gets a shot of wild turkey again. I will tell you this, that he used aligned 23 times throughout that news conference. Everybody was counting. But look, I hope they get it right. I want them to get it right because they cannot continue to be a disastrous NBA franchise, particularly like they were last year when everybody in the Valley was ready to jump on board, and this team is going to make a run. Yeah, they made a run to nothing. That's exactly what happened. All right, more now with Gregory and the organization. He's got to find some role models.
We're a get it done today kind of team. That's what we need to be. We're going to get it done today. We're not going to wait to be the best version of ourselves. We're going to do it today.
All right, so are we right back to going out and making deals for Kevin Durant and Bradley Beal? Because to me, that sounds like Matt Ishbia saying, hey, I want to make this move today.
Yeah, I don't know.
I mean, that just I almost fell off my chair when I heard that one because it takes me back to that. And as I said in my statement earlier, I appreciate Ishbia swinging for the fences, but it didn't work. So you have to go in a different direction. And we'll find out if Gregory is that guy that can take them in that different direction.
Connor, how many more clips do we have? Because I'm getting a little tired of Brian Gregory's voice. I don't know how you guys feel about this guy's voice. Golly, it just sounds so vague and boring. And the same
I got
thing
two more, but you're going to have to hear these ones.
All right.
I'll bear two more clips.
All right, play the next one then.
Here's the next one. Can you guys guess what he's talking about?
Alignment?
Alignment.
If you don't do that, there's no way you can build the alignment. There's no way you can create that identity. Because it has to be, everybody has to have both feet in on that. I always say all in, all out, all the time. That's got to be done. And with someone with with Dev, I mean, it's great for him to stand up and say, listen, I need to do more of this. This is important for me, but it's important for the franchise. Because one thing he does, everything he does is always what's in the best interest of our franchise. And, and his community, everything in the community and stuff like that.
I can see where you're getting tired.
Can we give this guy like synonyms? I'm looking synonyms of alignment. Like, can Matt Ishbia just give this guy layout? You could use continuity, distribution, orientation, structure, system, order. I can go on and on and on.
Okay, let's play the last one.
Has he mentioned alignment in this one too?
He's seen a lot. He's got a high basketball IQ. For example, with the coaches, talking with him in terms of what are the attributes that make a great NBA coach right now. It's probably changed in the time that he's been in the league. And getting that input from him, but getting that input from other players as well is very, very important. That collaborative effort within the NBA is becoming more and more crucial for success. You got players that have played a long time, players that have seen a lot of different things. And if you're not in touch with them and communicating with them, I think it puts you in a difficult spot. So from a front office perspective, and then obviously back to the coaching perspective, those things are very, very important for us.
That's his thoughts, talking with Devin Booker and the input that Booker will have in this coaching search.
The only thing I had my mind on was if he was going to say alignment one more time. The entire clip.
Yeah.
I didn't even listen.
You were waiting for it?
I was waiting for it. I mean, what a disaster. I mean, this Suns team just continues to look worse and worse and worse by the day. Brian Gregory, I know it's tough. I don't believe in winning a press conference.
I don't
But
either.
I definitely believe that you could lose a press conference and maybe fans are more concerned, especially a guy that has no experience as a GM. That's going to GM the Suns with a long to-do list. I would say he lost that press conference. And that leads us to our State 48 Roofing. It's your call question of the day. How would you grade the new Suns GM, Brian Gregory's intro press conference yesterday? I voted D. What'd you guys vote?
I voted C. I'll give him the benefit of the doubt. Yeah, that's
for him being a first year. Connor,
Yeah.
what did you vote?
You guys might not like this. It was like a D for me.
That's fine. That's fine. That's why we do it.
I think the big thing that threw me off
Yeah.
is when they first asked him about his experience, he probably reiterated himself 3 different ways about saying, I have experience because I'm experienced because I have experience.
Yes. Yeah, I know. I got a lot of experience. That's the only reason I have a lot of experience is because I'm older than the dirt on the ground on this planet. That's why I have experience. Wow. This is going to be interesting. It's going to be, and it's going to make for great sports talk radio. There's no question in my mind about that. I will give him a chance. Just like when Matt Ishbia bought the team and everybody got excited, a owner who really cares, who wanted to be involved, who made big swings and went after big name players that had big and huge contracts, but thinking that it was going to work, and it didn't. So now you swing, and will you miss? Or will you knock it out of the park with a guy who does not have any general manager experience? But he is aligned with the owner. So if you're aligned with the owner, you're probably in pretty good shape. Man, pass me another wild turkey, will you please? Coming up, it's our Campus Quickies. We're going to talk ASU, U of A, GCU. Connor's got our Twin Peaks ESPN 620 update right now.
It's now time for your Roc and Manuch with Jimmy B's ESPN 620 Twin Peaks update. Right now, the Diamondbacks and Mets are in the rubber match at the top of the 7th, and Merrill Kelly is just now getting pulled out after making it 98 pitches. Good thing is not pulled for cramping. Bad thing is pulled because he's just given up quite a few runs there. At the top of the 6th, Juan Soto hit a home run, and Luis Andrew Acuna hit a RBI. And right now as well, it looks like that was Tyrone Taylor, who also brought in another group of guys. So 3-0 currently is your score for the Mets and Diamondbacks. Twin Peaks, cool moms love the Lodge, and you can show your appreciation this Mother's Day by treating your mom to specials on some of the favorites all day long, including mimosas, sangria, and more. Twin Peaks, eat, drinks, and scenic views.
I was in a wreck. I need a check.
I was in a wreck. I need a check.
I was in a wreck. I need a check.
I'm attorney Shepard Rowe. Being in an auto accident is dramatic. You need to call the best law firm that has the experience to get you the best results. Call 977-1900. That's 977-1900.
Lerner and Rowe is the way to go. Call 977-1900. 977-1900.
Looking for reliable auto repair? Look no further than Network Automotive Service Centers. From brakes to full service repairs, including network collision repair and network glass and calibration, we've got you covered. Enjoy honest prices, excellent customer service, and our unbeatable 24-month, 24,000-mile nationwide warranty. Schedule your appointment online today at our 5 Valley locations. Visit networkautomotive.com. Network Automotive, where your satisfaction is 100% guaranteed.
Twin Peaks is the best in the game. Here, the Scratch Kitchen delivers lunch in the clutch. I mean, where else can you order a 29-degree draft beer and a quickie combo on your lunch break? Only at Twin Peaks, the #1 sports bar.
If you're searching for the best burgers in the game, find them all at 5 Valley Twin Peaks all month long. May is National Hamburger Month, and these seasoned, smashed, and served burgers are waiting to be discovered. Twin Peaks, eats, drinks, scenic views.
All right, folks, here we go. 3rd and long, and your old underwear just got blitzed again. Sweaty, bunched up, riding high. That's a wardrobe malfunction, and you cannot coach through that. But hold everything. Chill Boys enters the game. Cool, breathable bamboo boxers. Smooth as a perfectly executed 2-minute drill. I slipped on a pair and bam, total comfort in the pocket, even in the Arizona heat. I've called a lot of clutch performances in my day, and I'm calling it right now. Chill Boys is the MVP of underwear. We've all made the switch here at ESPN 620, and trust me, you should too. Head to chillboys.com, use code ESPN, and get 20% off your first order. That's chillboys.com. Folks, this is a game changer. You cannot afford to fumble.
You wanted to be cool, which led you to smoking, which led to a pack a day. Then you met that special someone, which led to starting a life with them, which led to wanting to live longer, which led to quitting. Then you heard you may be at risk for lung cancer, which led you to getting a low-dose CT scan. If you smoked, get scanned. Talk to your doctor and learn more at savedbythescan.org. Brought to you by the American Lung Association and the Ad Council.
Campus Quickies, your weekly quick look at the Sun Devils, Wildcats, Lumberjacks, and Lopes info. Exclusively on Roc and Manuch with Jimmy B on ESPN 620.
All right, everybody, welcome back in. We roll till 4 o'clock, and we're going to get into Campus Quickies. We're going to begin, as always, with ASU. That means Hode Rabino. Devil's Digest is our guest. You can follow him on X at Devil's Digest. Hode, welcome as always, pal. All right, I'm not going to steal your thunder, but I will say this. I saw that they have signed a 6'7" wide receiver. So my first thought was, can he play football and basketball because Bobby Hurley needs help?
Yeah, I think Bobby Hurley needs just a little taller players than that, than 6'7". But Akeem Laniu, interesting story. He actually transferred from Dodge City Community College in Kansas, one of the better football programs in the junior college level. He transferred to Northern Illinois, spent the spring semester there, spring practice, decided that this wasn't for him, so decided to enter the portal. And I think ASU just wanted to add, obviously, more size to their wide receiver roster. And, you know, the motto of Hines Ward is no block, no rock. So he obviously liked what he saw from a blocking perspective from this wide receiver. So I think, pretty nice, maybe interesting addition this late in the game. We'll see how well he can get into the rotation later in the fall.
Oh, we had Joshua Shanklin on in the first segment of the hour. How do you see him in this upcoming fall? Is he going to be in the rotation, or do you think he's that good that he'll be a starter, a plug-and-play guy? How do you see Shanklin's role on this Arizona State defense when we look at this team in the fall?
Well, it's going to be hard because the entire two deep at defensive end for the Sun Devils, all seniors, all established players, or all players that are proven contributors at this level. When you bring somebody from a junior college level like Joshua Shanklin, you figure there's going to be some growing pains in year one. He does have a redshirt year still available, so that's obviously enticing for the coaching staff to use if they feel he cannot be in the rotation. But on the other hand, I think special teams is one area that he may avoid a red shirt if he is going to be an above-average player in that department. So my guess right now on May 7th would be that if Joshua Shanklin does not redshirt, he's still going to see more reps on special teams and be good at that, obviously, not just the body you're going to throw out there, rather than seeing a significant number of reps each and every game at defensive end.
Hode, is Kenny Dillingham and his staff done, or are they still on the hunt?
I think that transfer portal-wise, they might be adding just one or two more players. I think at special teams, I wouldn't be surprised if they got somebody who would be a combo punter kicker. For example, I think at defensive line, I still think that they would want to get maybe a defensive tackle there. But I would say more or less, even though the scholarship number is supposed to expand to 105, this is not a coaching staff that ever struck me as one that just adds body just to add them to the roster without thinking they're going to have some kind of value. And obviously, when you add players this late in the game, it's really hard to get quality ones. But I think those two positions I mentioned are possible additions for Arizona State. But otherwise, the team is really stocked quite nicely when it comes to returning players and obviously the portal additions that they made.
Ranked as one of the top recruiting places in the Big 12 this year. Mm-hmm. So that's got to factor in now, as a lot of players now are going to take a good look at ASU.
Yeah, I think when it comes to the 2026 class, they've been doing very, very well, fairly early in the cycle. And you definitely have to have that approach because once the transfer portal window opens, you want to know that you have your incoming freshmen signed and ready to go to see what you have or don't have in each and every position, which you are going to address in the transfer portal. So I definitely like Arizona State's approach. And I said this many times on your show, Jimmy, that when it comes to talent evaluation, this staff definitely deserves the benefit of the doubt because they have proven to hit many, many more bullseyes than whiffs, both in the transfer portal and from the high school and junior college ranks. So if they are able to be ranked this high this early, that is definitely a promising sign for 2026. So I really like all the moves that this coaching staff is making for the upcoming fall 2025 season, as well as the future.
Always good, Hode. You class up the program when you come on. We appreciate you. Have a good day.
Thank you, guys.
There you go. That's Hode Rubino, everybody. You can find him on X at Devil's Digest. All right, speaking of class, let's go to Tucson. He's a man who always has a plan. That is Glenn Howell. He hosts the pre-halftime and post-game for U of A. You can find him on X at Glenn P. Howell. That is Glenn P. Howell. Glenn, thank you, pal, as always. Are they done in the portal? Are they done? Is Brennan done with his shopping?
Yeah, I think they're pretty much done. But what a very interesting portal acquisition we just got the other day is Kean Burnett went to Kansas and then went there for spring ball and came back. So the tight end that is, I think is going to be a really good tight end. He's about 6'5.5". He's the son of Chester Burnett, who played on the Desert Swarm team. And he's a good tight end. He came back. So I think that was our latest acquisition of getting in the portal, and right now that's been it. So I think we're pretty much set. Nobody left. We only lost 3 guys. Like I said last week, that we lost 3 guys that had minimal playing time last year. And I think we did pretty good surviving the opening of the portal.
Glenn, I went to the University of Montana and played football there, and I know you guys have a Montana Cat, or I should say Grizzly, former Grizzly that's there, and Riley Wilson. What do you have seen from him, as well as the new additions in the portal that you've seen in the spring ball?
Yeah, Riley's an edge guy. He's a guy that, when you come from a place like that, you're almost like guaranteed the guy has a motor, okay? He's got a really good motor that likes to get to the quarterback. And even though, at playing at that level, for him to be able to come to this Big 12 level, to jump that from Montana to here, that he really had to be a really aggressive guy. And I think the coaches saw that in him. That's why I think he improved a little bit in the spring practices that we had just recently.
Glenn, in your estimation, can they make a move again to be one of the better teams then in the Big 12?
Well, this is what I think. I think if there's not another portal, I try to look up the portal thing, which is so confusing. Okay.
Yeah.
I don't think we have another portal entry in the next before the season starts. So I think the guys that we have gotten, we fit those players in the positions that we need at running back and at the edge rusher and at the line. We filled some guys in at the offensive line. I think we did a pretty good job that we can have a successful team, because the reason why is because the way they were clicking during spring ball, and none of those guys left, I think it was pretty good. We just got to, like I said last week too, is to shore up that offensive line, because offensive line takes a little time to have those guys play a lot together, make the calls, understand the guy next to you. And they were changing in all different kinds of positions and trying to find a spot for the right 5. And, we got a couple guys come back from injury that'll be there in the fall that were starters. So I think we'll be set coming up in the fall. All
right. So Barry Butel is going to be our guest from GCU in just a moment. Anything you want to say to him, since the U of A baseball team got beat by GCU last night?
Man, I think he should cherish that, because that stuff doesn't happen very often, because we got a pretty good baseball squad now. My boy Chip Hale, he's, we're gonna get a little run. I think we're gonna have a little run coming up in the Big 12 conference tournament. I think we'll do pretty good. I think we got a pretty good team. We got some good pitching, and baseball in college, man, it's just up and down. It's just hard to really to tell with college baseball. I think that it's just that it's all down to pitching. As everything in Major League Baseball, everything's pitching. But I think we'll have a good run in the tournament.
Always good, pal, when we catch up with you. And Barry is coming up next. Thank you as always, Glenn.
All right, tell him to enjoy it and bear down.
There you go. I'm sure he will. Speaking of Barry and GCU. He's on the line with us right now. You can find him on X at Barry Butel. All right, Barry, I set you up to hit the home run on this. Brag about it. Go ahead.
Yeah. Guys, I think GCU is perfectly aligned when they take on the Wildcats.
That's another shot of Wild Turkey. Wild Turkey, another shot.
Thank you. 5 times the Lopes have beaten the Wildcats in the last 2 seasons. So, yeah, they're 22nd ranked team, and Glenn's right. The Wildcats and Chip Hale doing a great job, great combination of pitching and hitting. But Zach York was the deciding factor for the D1 era, with one Jacob Wilson, who's manning shortstop for the Sacramento A's, I guess, right now with 155 career RBIs. So the Lopes are set. They're about a half game back of Sac State atop the WAC right now. They've got a 3-game set at Stanford. Then they travel over to Tempe next week for a game against the Sun Devils, who they beat back on April 22nd, 7-6 on a late homer by Michael Diaz. So they've been battling the local teams pretty hard here. Now they have to do it at Hohokam starting on the 20th when the conference tournament starts.
What's it been about since you've been there and covered GCU and seen this university explode the way it has? Basketball gets all the attention from a national perspective, but what have you seen in both baseball and softball for their programs to continue to get better and better as you continue to evaluate them?
Yeah, great question. I think it starts at the top, right? It starts at the top with baseball. Andy Stankiewicz really set a great foundation here before he left for Southern Cal. But then, Greg Wallace was on staff and was really integral to building out the roster and securing talent as a recruiting coordinator. Then he took over as a head coach, and he's led the team to the WAC conference title and gone on, and they played in the regional down against the Wildcats, where they won a game against Arizona last year down in Tucson. So they from the top have done great. Softball 3 times in the last 4 years. WAC Coach of the Year Shannon Hayes. He's got a team on a nation best 20-game winning streak. They're 43-6 overall, 21-2 in conference. They're just beginning conference play in Riverside. They start Thursday 1 p.m. The winner of Seattle Utah Valley, and they're predicted once again to head to the NCAA tournament. But again, it's the guys at the top, or the women at the top, the coaches that have been secured by Jamie Boggs, the athletic director at GCU, just top-level talent who are able to go out there and recruit top-quality talent in what is now a very competitive portal marketplace in collegiate athletics.
I was just going to follow up. How difficult, then, is it to get talent out of the portal for women's softball?
Shannon Hayes is tapped into it. I mean, the quality and the transfers, plus he pulled from Waddell, Arizona, the WAC Player of the Year in Savannah Kirk, who hits over 500 right here in our own backyard, and she's leading the way in regards to hitting. The Player of the Year, Freshman of the Year a season ago, but transfers galore, and somehow just the name, the reputation, and the fact that he's won everywhere he's gone. Shannon Hayes, again, leading the way at the top of the softball hierarchy here at GCU.
Barry, it's always good, pal, when you class up the program. Thank you again for your time. We'll keep an eye out on softball and baseball.
Thanks, guys. I appreciate it.
There you go. Barry Butel. That is indeed our campus quickies. And they are presented by All City Towing. And you can join the team at the largest towing company in the state. It is All City Towing. They are hiring call takers, lot attendants, drivers, customer service personnel. And they offer up a very good pay grade and sensational benefits. I'll give you a couple of quick examples. Set work schedules, a 401k employer match, health benefits, employer paid life insurance, and a monthly fuel allowance. You got to check it out. If you're not satisfied with what you're doing now, check out All City Towing. Here's all you have to do. Just go online, allcitytowing.com, and careers. Again, that's allcitytowing.com. Search careers. It's All City Towing, where your future is on the move. All right, a quick break, but when we come back, it's our AC experts, player or team of who's hot and who's not. We've got a hot player for you today. It's Roc and Manuch with Jimmy B, ESPN 620.
Are you looking to spike sales and grab the attention of sports fans? Arizona's longest-running sports show has a fresh opportunity just for you. Get your brand, message, and business in front of a diverse audience. Join Roc and Manuch with Jimmy B right here on ESPN 620 and FM at 98.7 HD2. Text 602-881-1213.
What'd you say?
Effective and inexpensive strategy to grow your business. It's that simple. Text 602-881-1213.
I know I went on during Barry. I saw one on the TV, too.
Arizona's headquarters for Toyotas is Wright Toyota. Hey, Rock, for my friends at Wright Toyota in Scottsdale. you will always find the right deal at Wright Toyota. Wright Toyota has been driving Arizona's home for years with their amazing service, pricing, and great selections. I encourage you to discover the difference.
Did he hear that on Zen 2?
Make the right choice, Wright Toyota, just off the 101 on Frank Lloyd Wright Boulevard, and always online at WrightToyota.com. The right price, the right selection. Check out WrightToyota.com.
Arena Sports Grill in Scottsdale on Bell Road is your home for billiards, poker, and trivia. And the Roc and Manuch Amber on tap. Stop by today and experience top sports viewing, off-track betting, daily specials, and ice-cold Roc and Manuch Amber poured by Dos Equis. Arena Sports Grill open daily until 2 a.m. For their daily specials, head to
That'd be wild if someday we get one of those and it's actually real.
Sports Grill in North Scottsdale.
Attention golf lovers and putting enthusiasts. Are you ready to elevate your game? At Putting World, we've got cutting-edge technology that'll have you sinking putts like a pro. With high-tech simulators and expert coaches,
we're getting bombed.
On your way to mastering that tricky 6-footer in no time. Check us out at puttingworld.com. Whether you're a seasoned golfer or a newbie who thinks a hole-in-one is just a fancy donut, there's a place for you at Putting World. Eat it, drink it, sink it. Putting World.
We all hear the radio ads about the IRS. They tell you to be afraid, to be scared, and they try to frighten you into calling. I'm not here to do that. Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000, $50,000, or $500,000, we have a solution. It doesn't matter if you're sitting in your car, at work, or with your kids. No matter where you are, call now. 800-566-1649. Don't lose hope. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS. Generous programs are now available that can give you a fresh start. Our passion is taxes and helping individuals fix their IRS problems. We have over 1,000 5-star reviews on Google and an A+ with the Better Business Bureau. You don't need to be afraid of the IRS any longer. End your tax nightmare today by visiting us online at TRA.com or call 800-566-1649. That's 800-566-1649. Tax Relief Advocates. Real solutions for real people.
Time for the hot or cold player of the week, brought to you by AC Experts. With over 20 years of experience, their locally owned and operated team keeps you comfortable year-round. For service, call 480-386-6980 or schedule an appointment online at acexpertsaz.com.
Welcome back in, everybody. Roc and Manuch with Jimmy B, ESPN 620, 98.7 FM HD2. Updating the Diamondbacks game right now. They are playing in the top of the 8th inning, and it is 4-0 Mets. 4-0 Mets right now in the top of the 8th. Thank you to AZ Sports for that update. It is time for our today's expert. That's it, the hot recipient. So we've got it for you. AC Expert Hot Recipient. This is from last night's Diamondback victory over the Mets.
Now the pitcher Peterson swung on that. Is hit well out to left field. Nimmo back, turns and watches. Home run, Gurriel. Fastball right down the chute. And Gurriel turned it around. Oh, that was a nice swing.
And it was from last night, obviously, and it was a victory by the D-backs over the Mets last night. But as we mentioned right now, they're on getaway day. They are trailing in the top of the 8th inning, 4-0 to the Mets. All right, that is indeed our hot player of the week, Loris Gurriel, brought to you by AC Experts. 20 years of experience, locally owned and operated, and for service, just call 480-386-6980. That's 480-386-6980, or you can schedule an appointment online, azexpertsaz.com. Let me repeat that one more time. azexpertsaz.com. Summer's coming. Get ready with AC Experts. There it is, our hot player of the night. Little random fact of the day. Now, if I would have said this to you, that Britney are 19th cousins.
Okay, hold on.
What does that mean?
That seems fake. How many cousins can you have
That's
in the
what I'm
19th
asking. Yeah.
thing? I want to know who my 19th cousin. It's probably LeBron James somehow or George Washington. How is that? That's the random fact of the day that you brought to the show.
Unfortunately, it is. I don't even know if I can name one cousin. How many cousins
19th.
do you have?
I didn't even think you could have a 19th cousin. Usually it's like your second cousin or
Yeah.
your third cousin, your first cousin.
Yeah.
That's an interesting random fact of the day you have there, Jimmy.
Britney Spears, Gerald Ford, 19th cousins. Shocking. Absolutely shocking. All right, let's do a little football at 50 and move on to something more positive. What do you got, Jax?
Yeah, the Cowboys and the Steelers had a trade this morning at 4 a.m. Jerry Jones up early, talking about how he was going to do something, splash in the wide receiver room for the Dallas Cowboys, and they did so. The Steelers trade wide receiver George Pickens in a 2027 sixth-round pick in exchange for a 2026 third-round pick and a 2027 fifth-round pick. Now, this matters for Dallas because their search for a wide receiver 2 opposite of CeeDee Lamb is now over. This gives Dallas the best wide receiver duo they've had since Lamb and Amari Cooper back in 2020, 2021. The Cowboys did not draft a receiver in the 2025 draft as they targeted Tedero McMillan at the 12th spot, but went earlier to 8 to Carolina. So for Pickens, he's entering the final year of his contract on his rookie deal. Cowboys reportedly won't extend him, but he'll play out in 2025. They'll see what happens. I'm going to throw it to Connor because Connor's a Cowboys fan too.
He is.
But you were talking to me earlier about how the Cowboys gave up a 2026 third-round pick and that Pickens doesn't get re-signed. The compensatory could come back as a third-round pick in 2026. Explain.
Yeah, so this is one of those deals there where, as we all know, when you're drafted in the first round or drafted in the second round, things of that sort, and you have a certain amount of time on your contract spent with that team, you're offered up compensatory picks for if you end up losing that player. That's something the Cowboys have done for quite a while, where they've had guys walk away after their 4th or 5th year, and you see a lot of times it's a handful of 5th round, 6th round, 7th round type of picks you get in return. However, for somebody of George Pickens' caliber, drafted where he was and the output that he had in the NFL, if the Cowboys end up moving on from him at the end of the season and somebody else picks him up and signs him to a deal, the Dallas Cowboys, in theory, pick up a third-round compensatory pick, which happens to be the same third pick that you got rid of today. So it's kind of a win-win situation.
I like the idea that they're not going to pick up his contract. That tells you that he's just a one and done, and that they're afraid of his attitude as well. But I see how he could really help out because athletically, the dude is truly gifted. He's a sensational wide receiver. It's just issues that he has on the team and off the field. There it is, football at 50. It's brought to you by Chill Boys. Fellas, your underwear shouldn't blitz you all day. Chill Boys boxers play it cool, soft, breathable, and built for comfort in the heat. Call an audible. Go to chillboys.com. Use code ESPN and score 20% off your first pair. Once again, it's Chill Boys. Got some on today, and I'm sitting in the chair, and I'm chilling. We're coming right back. ESPN 620.
Ooh, ma. What was that? That is business phone bliss with the Ooma Cloud phone system. It handles all our voice, video, and messaging needs. You sound very calm. I am. Ooma has everything I need to run my business more efficiently, like virtual receptionist, call routing, and video conferencing. And it starts at just $19.95 per month per user, plus taxes and fees. Ooma. Nice. Find your business comm at ooma.com/radio.
Hey, Green Gobbler here. So you've got a clogged drain in your bathroom. Water in the sink's overstaying its welcome. You're spitting today's toothpaste on top of yesterday's toothpaste. You hope that it go away. Yeah, clogs don't just go away. I make them go away. I'm Green Gobbler, the only clog dissolver you need. I'm bleach-free, safe for your pipes, and I work. Guaranteed or your money back. Because I never met a clog that was going to unclog itself. Green Gobbler.
Let the gobbler get it.
As a fan, you know all the important sports cliches. And when you save money by bundling your home and auto with Progressive, you can get out there and give it 110%, even though that's mathematically impossible. And remember, failure is not an option. Well, it's always an option, just not a good one. But you're not worried because you've got ice in your veins. You're on fire. How can both of those things be true at the same time? Well, that's between you and your doctor. So get out there and leave it all on the field. Leave what? Who cares? Just leave it and save with a bundle from Progressive. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company affiliates. Other insurance not available in all states or situations.
Get ready for Camping World's Red, White, and New trade event, May 15th through the 18th. Get the highest value for your RV guaranteed during the biggest RV trade event of the year. Shop the best RV deals in America with new RVs starting as low as $92 a month. Get ready for the holiday weekend with up to 45% off grills and 25% off product installation. Plus, we'll have free hats, free propane refills, free food, and fun for the whole family.
I do. I still got eligibility.
Like a new trade event, May 15th through the 18th.
I'd be a good receiver for him. Go imagine.
Join college baseball's greatest tradition when Sun Devil Baseball hosts Houston for a 3-game series starting Friday, May 9th through Sunday, May 11th.
Swing a fly ball deep to right field, way back, way back.
Kempton said he's good for 3:30.
Make sure to arrive
So,
early on
he
Friday
said, sorry
night
about earlier. I
to
said, all
honor
good.
Sun Devil Baseball legend Jeff Blair with an exclusive bobblehead
Yeah.
giveaway to the first 1,000 fans in attendance. Get your tickets today. Go online to sundeviltickets.com. Go Devils.
Craving tacos? There's one spot in town that everyone can't stop talking about. The Taco Spot, with mouth-watering, authentic Mexican flavors.
No, we're going to do Guy now. So,
The Taco Spot has the best tacos I've ever
no, I don't want to do sounds because we were using some of the old baseball from last night. This game's almost over.
The tacos to talk about. Enjoy handmade
Yeah,
tortillas.
yeah, and then we'll get Kempton at 3:30.
Taste buds dancing. The Taco Spot, where every bite is a fiesta.
KTAR AM Phoenix, Arizona's home for the worldwide leader in sports. Is ESPN 620. Let's talk football, indoor style. Time for the Arizona Rattlers Report. Join us as we dive into the latest news and highlights from the 7-time national champions. Now let's bring on our special guest from the Arizona Rattlers to get the inside scoop on this season's action.
Welcome back, everybody. Roc and Manuch with Jimmy B. It's Jimmy B, Jackson Connor today. Roc is back again tomorrow. We're going to talk to Kevin Guy, Rattlers head football coach. You can follow him on X at Coach K Guy. That's Coach K Guy. Coach, welcome. And a little rough one this past weekend against Tucson and the Sugar Skulls. What happened, pal?
Well, I always hate making excuses, but the facts are the facts, and in our league we have to turn in our roster, our active roster for the game, 48 hours for the game. Well, after the 48 hours, we learned that Drew Powell, our other quarterback, has had some health issues, and the doc did not want to play him, and so we had two quarterbacks, so we had to go into the game with one quarterback. And then we get in the game and we're already down an offensive skill guy, and which we decided to, dress the next. We dressed 4 receivers for every game, and we dressed a 5th receiver because we wasn't able to activate one of our other quarterbacks, for the game because it was past the 48 hours. And then, Jamal Miles went down in the first series of the game, one of our receivers, and Johannes Tyler, one of our other receivers, he went down probably I think it was the 3rd series of the game. And, luckily, not luckily, but, with what happened with Drew, we dressed, 5 receivers. So we had 3 receivers left, and one young man's a rookie and is still learning. And we just, we were in control of that game. We went into the 4th quarter up 15 points, and we just started to melt as an offense in the 4th quarter. We were starting to just mistakes were starting to happen. Guys were in there. Your quarterback is not comfortable when he's throwing the guys he's not used to throwing to. and our timing was off. I mean, there was probably 4 touchdowns that we had guys, open, and the timing was off, just because you get limited reps in practice with those 2s and 3s, and when they have to play, there's always a learning curve there. So, the thing I was disappointed about was we're up 2, we're driving, and we're trying to score, run the clock down. We threw a 3rd down interception. If it got to 4th down, I'd probably kick the field goal to go up 5 and put it on our defense to get a stop. But, neither our offense scored on that last drive, and our defense came out on the field and didn't get a stop. And, and I had a conversation with the team about that today. We did that up in Green Bay. Our defense, the roles were reversed. The defense had to get a stop, and then our offense drove down and scored with a couple of seconds on the clock, and we won that game. And, it didn't happen this time. This is really the first time that we didn't execute in what I call situational football. So we got to learn from it. We got some guys down. We got two big games, coming up. Big one this weekend with Bay Area at home. And right now we're spending a lot of time. We got 3. We had to, because we have small rosters in this league, and we got 3 new receivers in this week. Trying to teach them the offense, and we're going to be limited on what we're going to be able to do, we feel like we got a good plan, and we just got to get out and execute it and see what we can do.
Coach, looking back on it, you guys haven't lost a game since last year, June, at Vegas, where you guys lost 55-50. If you look back on that moment to now, I know losing's not something that roster and that room's familiar with. How do you kind of keep your guys focused and kind of bounce back into what you said, a big game this week, and kind of learn from that loss moving forward?
Well, I felt last week going down there, I kept telling them that Tucson was better than what they were. As a coach, you watch film, and you can tell, where their strengths and weaknesses are. And I felt like it was a little bit of a trap game going down there. And, it's human nature, though. When you're winning, you're on a 10-game win streak. The players sometimes think everything's hunky-dory, and coaches are just warning them about things just to be warning them about things. But the truth of the matter is, it's human nature, and it's going to catch up with you. But, how we bounce back, I mean, it's going to come down to some of these new faces that we had to bring in this week. And, but we do, I'd like to see our defense finish off. Our whole defense is ready to go. Our O-line, our running backs. We do have 3 receivers that will be playing that's been with us all year. So, and I hate discussing injuries, because at the end of the day, every team goes through it. So in my mind, it's not an excuse. It was more of the timing. We just didn't, after the 48-hour rule, we didn't have a lot of time to be able to adjust to what was going on. And you're kind of roster locked in that situation and can't make any moves. And believe me, I tried to talk to the commissioner and allow me to activate my other quarterback, but just didn't have. I didn't have the influence. I didn't do as good a job of selling as I do on some other topics when I talk to him about other things.
That's a great line. I just didn't have enough influence. I got news for you, though, Kevin. Jack's sitting right here next to me on the show, former wide receiver, University of Montana. You should give him a call.
Yeah, I don't know how much. I haven't ran in a while, Coach, but I'm a little rusty. But I think I can maybe get in there.
You just gotta be able to catch a hitch.
I could do that. Perfect.
There you go.
That'd be epic. That'd be awesome. But speaking of, I played with Dalton Sneed back in Montana. I know this is the second year that you've had with him. I know it's early on in the season. What's been the biggest change in Dalton's game the first 5 games in the season?
Well, I think he's a little bit more comfortable with the offense, being in it for the second year. You could just tell the other night his timing was off with the new receivers out on the field. And, I believe he went 8 of 22 on the night. And, we had a 15-point lead going into, the fourth quarter. We just kind of, a lot of those incompletions happened in the fourth quarter. He's got a lot of moxie to him. Obviously you played with him, that, he's a competitor. We got to regroup. I mean, nobody thought we were going to go 16-0. And I really, at the end of the day, I'd tell the team all the time, it's really just about getting better every week. It's about peaking at the right time and how we're playing at the end of the season. I know when you lose early in the season, but at the end of the day, it's really about how you're playing, and you want to win enough games to get in the tournament, and you want to be playing your best ball. And I think this organization kind of knows how to manage that. We've done a good job over the last 16, 17 years of putting our team in a position to compete for championships, and we'll get this turned around. Could get worse. It could get worse before it gets better, but when we get healthy, we're going to be a hard team to beat.
I agree with that, Coach. I've seen you guys work miracles. It's always a great time. Up for your fans right now about the Bay Area Panthers for this weekend.
Well, listen, Bay Area won the championship year before last. We won it last year. This is the last two champions playing each other this weekend. So we're expecting a great crowd here in Glendale at Desert Diamond Arena. And, I know our players are fired up. Last year we started the season 1-3. We had a lot of injuries at the beginning of the season. And, again, we were rostered like wasn't much we could do, but we played Bay Area twice early in the season and they beat us twice. So we've been waiting. We've had this game circled for a while, and hopefully we can put 21 guys on the field that's healthy, that can compete and try to win this game this weekend.
It's funny when coaches say we've had this one circled for a while. And how does that play when you use that to your players in the locker room? How do they respond?
Well, for me, I can tell you, I don't remember a lot of the wins. I remember the losses, and I don't like anybody having a one up on me or an advantage on me. So, I'm motivated to win this game. I know my staff is. We're competitors just like the players. But the guys that were here last year, it's going to mean something to them. The guys that weren't here last year, I'm sure they're just looking at this as the next opportunity to try to get a W. But I like this locker room. I like our character in the locker room. We got a lot of competitive guys, and we're going to learn a lot about them this coming weekend.
Saturday, Desert Diamond Arena. Bay Area Panthers, the opposition. Thank you, Coach. Always good to catch up with you.
You bet. Appreciate you.
Thank you.
Have a great day.
You got it. Yep. Kevin Guy, everybody, right there. And he has presented today our Rattlers Report. It's brought to you by Network Automotive Centers. And if you're looking for reliable auto repair, look no further than Network Automotive Service Centers. 6 locations across Arizona. They're trusted experts for maintenance and repairs. They're family-owned business for over 30 years, and they treat you like you are in their family. Visit them in Apache Junction, Gilbert, Prescott, Queen Creek, and 2 locations in Mesa. It's Network Automotive, where your satisfaction is 100% guaranteed. NetworkAutomotive.com. By the way, Tim Kempton, Sons radio analyst, is going to join us coming up in about 15 minutes from right now at 3:30. But up next, we'll dive into the D-backs game, which is still continuing downtown at Chase Field. We'll also set you up for tonight's NBA action as well. Roc and Manuch with Jimmy B hanging out today. ESPN 620, also 98.7 HD on the FM dial.
Join college baseball's greatest tradition when Sun Devil Baseball hosts Houston for a 3-game series starting Friday, May 9th through Sunday, May 11th. A fly ball deep to right field, way back.
Bro, I got nervous because I actually think they need receivers at the Rattlers. I haven't ran a route in forever.
Jeff Larish with an exclusive bobblehead giveaway to the first 1,000 fans in attendance. Get your tickets today. Go online to sundeviltickets.com. Go Devils.
Are you looking to spike sales and grab the attention of sports fans? Arizona's longest-running sports show has a fresh opportunity just for you. Get your brand, message, and business in front of a diverse audience. Join Roc and Manuch with Jimmy B right here on ESPN 620 and FM at 98.7 HD2. Text 602-881-1213 for an effective and inexpensive strategy to grow your business. It's that simple. Text 602-881-1213 today.
I was in a wreck. I need a check.
I was in a wreck. I need a check.
Turner and Rose is the way to go. I was in a wreck. I need a check. Turner and Rose is the way to go.
I'm attorney Kevin Rowe. The insurance company's job is to pay you as little as possible. Our job is to get you every dollar you deserve. Call Turner and Rowe today and let's make them pay. Call 977-1900.
Turner and Rose is the way to go. Call 977-1900. 977-1900.
Twin Peaks is the best in the game. Here, the ultimate lunch lineup boasts wall-to-wall sports and scenic views. When you're hungry and in a hurry, the Scratch Kitchen delivers lunch in the clutch. I mean, where else can you order a 29-degree draft?
Connor, want to try out for the Rattlers with me?
Lunch break. Only at Twin Peaks, the #1 sports bar.
Twin Peaks Scratch Kitchen scores every time. Dig into hand-smashed burgers, chef-inspired flatbreads, and more at your local lodge.
Rock for WrightToyota.com. At Wright Toyota, they'd like you to get to know them. Their goal is to make buying your next vehicle the kind of experience that earns your recommendation to family and friends. They invite you to use all of their innovative web tools on WrightToyota.com. So if you're looking for a new or pre-owned Toyota, head to their interactive website at WrightToyota.com. The right price, the right selection, all at WrightToyota.com.
That'd be so insane if I just got like a DM. We've seen your film.
I can help kids to learn.
But
and
what
pursue their
film?
dreams.
PI, a defect of the immune system, affects millions of children. Early and accurate diagnosis and treatment give children like Sam a chance to achieve their dreams.
It takes a lot of caring teachers to make school fun. It took a lot of caring people to keep my dream alive. And now, because of them, I can be head of the class.
For more information, visit the Jeffrey Modell Foundation at info4pi.org.
It's Roc and Manuch with Jimmy B on their new home, ESPN 620.
Welcome back, everybody. Tim Kempton, Suns radio analyst, will be our guest in about 15 minutes from right now. We will dive into what the new GM had to say yesterday, also talk some NBA playoffs as well. Once again, in about 15 minutes, Tim Kempton of the Suns on the show. All right, let's get into the D-backs. Right now, they are almost done with this game. They are playing in the top of the ninth inning. The Mets lead at 4-1, and the Mets have had success in this game with the long ball. In fact, we have a couple of highlights for you right now from today, and thank you to Diamondbacks Radio Network 98.7 Arizona Sports Station.
One out, the 1-1 pitch. Swung on, high fly ball, deep right center. Soto admires, gazes, looks up because that one is gone. Into the overhang at center. And Soto's 6th home run of the season gives New York a 1-0 lead.
So Juan Soto gets it going just like that for the Mets. And then there was more long ball.
Takes his 0-1 pitch. Soto swings, goes the opposite way to deep left field. Gurriel is back, and that one's going to go. Another multi-home run game for Soto against the Diamondbacks. He got one in New York, and now he's got one in Phoenix. 4-0 Mets.
There's a theme there.
Yeah, I would say that $765 million contract, 15 years, is paying off for the Mets early here. I mean, Juan Soto, what a start to the season. A funny story with Juan Soto when I worked at the Princess as a valet.
Okay.
He didn't tip me anything.
What?
And this was after he had his contract with the Padres.
He showed up and you were there?
He was wearing Padres shorts and a Nationals shirt and didn't pay me anything for his Acura that I pulled up to the front after he got that mega contract. So,
well, what kind of guy? Did you tell him who you were? You were a radio star?
No.
You should have. Hey, I'm Jax, man.
No.
I'm on ESPN 620. What are you doing stiffing me?
He couldn't even slip me $5 or anything like that. He said thank you and went away. But no, for him to be 2 for 4, 2 runs and 2 home runs in a game like this, and just the bats are starting to come alive for the Mets. That's why they're so dangerous this year in the MLB is the bats, the offense that they have. It's tough for, opponents like the Arizona Diamondbacks. They basically have to keep up. They have 6 hits today, but still down 4-1 at the top of the ninth, and it looks like they're making a pitching change here.
They're going to have to. They got runners at first and second, and once again, it's in the top of the ninth inning, and it is the Mets up 4-1 on Getaway Day. All right, so to the NBA, and last night we saw a fantastic game between the Cleveland Cavaliers and the Indiana Pacers. Then the game that followed between the Golden State Warriors and the Minnesota Timberwolves was just dreadful. Absolutely god-awful, because the T-Wolves didn't even show up in the first half. However, the television ratings for the first series that have been played are up over 6% so far. So people have found the NBA playoffs, and they like what they are seeing, particularly, Jax, with all the close games that we have had.
Yeah, it's pretty nuts. You watch all these games, even if it's a 20-point comeback, in college basketball, you'd still think you're in it because of how quickly things can change with runs and stuff. But the NBA, I'm to be honest, Jimmy B, I didn't think much of when a team is up 20. You just think it's over because, it's the NBA. The Cavs have a bunch of great shooters. The other teams the other night have great shooters too. OKC, the Celtics especially. Yeah. So all my eyes are going to be the Celtics and what they did the first game, 15-60. Can they get things going, especially Jason Tatum, who we always say he's one of the best superstars in the NBA, but it seems like in some NBA games, or NBA playoff games, I should say, he's a little quiet towards the end there. So those two up against the Knicks, who they don't have any pressure now. They're up 1-0. They weren't supposed to win this whole series. If the Knicks are up 2-0, going into Madison Square Garden, a hostile environment, the pressure is going to be set on the Celtics. Both the Celtics and the Thunder preseason, and even with the odds right now, are the two favorites to win it all, and both are looking at 1-0 deficits, could potentially be 2-0. I'll ask you guys, if you had to say between the Nuggets or the Knicks to win tonight, who do you favor as an opportunity to go 2-0 between those two?
I would favor right off the top the Nuggets, and the reason is simple, because they match up so much better against OKC. And OKC is long and lanky, but so are the Nuggets. So you have the Joker matched up against Isaiah Hartenstein. They're both 7-footers. Then you have a guy like Chet Holmgren, who's a 7-footer, long and lengthy, but he's going to have to be matched up against with Aaron Gordon, or you're going to have a situation where Michael Porter Jr., it can play him as well. Both those guys are like 6'10". So that's why I think the Nuggets, and that's why I picked them in this series. I just felt that they were the better matchup in the West. Also, how cool is it that you are having the Joker and Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, who most people believe will get the MVP this year, although I'm still in the corner that that the Joker should get it. Joker could get it. And I get it. I understand it. Look, Steve Nash, 1-2. They wouldn't give him a third. For a time, you could have given the MVP to Michael Jordan every year. You could have given the MVP to LeBron James every year. But they just don't do that, so they just don't like the same guy to win it all the time. I find that to be really interesting. We'll get into some of that with Tim Kempton as well. He's going to join us in roughly about 10 minutes from right now. So here we are with a situation with the Los Angeles Rams. So if you tune into the radio station, ESPN 620, in mid-June, and we aren't on the air, they're playing national programs, the reason is because we worked out a deal with the Rams to take us to Maui. The Los Angeles Rams have put together a mini camp in Maui. So they are going to be there for like 4 days, and they're taking the players to. How do you get this gig? I mean, I would carry Sean McVay's bag. I would sleep in a suitcase if he'd just throw me on the plane so I could go to Maui with him for a couple of days.
Yeah, it's remarkable. It's the first NFL team to hold mandatory camp in Hawaii I think there's some partnership here due with the girls flag football games they're going to have before some boys flag football games and try to help football, I guess, in Hawaii too. But for players, how could you not be thrilled about this opportunity to go over to Hawaii? I know there was Field Gates and Dan Orlovsky tweeting at ESPN saying, hey, if you need me to cover the Rams in Maui for mid-June during this mandatory minicamp, I have it available. I will be there if you need me to be there and sit in Maui and only cover the team for about 2-3 hours and then sit on the beach. But I think it's a good opportunity for the Rams. They always try to explore and do new things. We've seen them do the NFL Draft House, and this year was cool. They went to the Los Angeles Fire Department and did their draft party there. So I think it's cool for Sean McVay to kind of think outside the box, be young, innovative, and reward his team that he assembled. You know, they've got a good roster.
They do.
What they did last year. And then, you know, they continue to add young guys in the draft, and Jared Verse and, you know, Puka Nacua, and having Devontae Adams come for free agency. So I think it's going to be fun for this team, and I think I don't see why it can hurt the Rams of doing something fun like this in Maui in June. And, you know, I also reading here too that the Rams announced this because they want to support wildfire recovery. So I'm sure they're going to raise some money.
Yes.
Them going to Maui and opening up to the public to be able to have some open practices as well.
All right, so the floodgates have opened now for the Diamondbacks and the Mets. It is now 7-1 Mets, and they are going to move to the bottom of the ninth inning. 7-1 Mets moving to the bottom of the ninth inning. All right, we're going to get out here a little early because we want to get Tim Kempton on the show. We have lots of NBA basketball questions, and also to talk about the Suns' new general manager as well in Brian Gregory. So Tim Kempton is coming up right now. But first, we are going to get a Twin Peaks ESPN 620 update right here.
Well, as you guys heard Jimmy B there, as we get to our Roc and Manuch with Jimmy B's Twin Peaks ESPN 620 update, the Diamondbacks are currently going into the bottom of the ninth, down 7-1. Not looking too good here as the Mets have a 7-1 lead, courtesy to Juan Soto with multiple home runs. What is Juan Soto having multiple runs against the Diamondbacks? It continuously happens. Corbin Carroll was able to get one homer in for himself, and still the bottom of the ninth of the lineup to come up. We'll see if there's a chance for Arizona to kind of close this gap here. Remember, Twin Peaks, if you're searching for the best burger in the game, you'll find them right here. Twin Peaks, all month long. It's National Hamburger Month, and these seasoned, smashed, and seared burgers are waiting to be discovered. Twin Peaks, eat, drinks, scenic views. Coming up next, radio voice for the Suns, Tim Kempton.
Join the team at the largest towing company in the state, All City Towing. We're hiring dispatchers, call takers, lot attendants, drivers, and customer service personnel. Enjoy benefits like the state's most advanced towing equipment, set work schedules, a healthy 401k employer match, health benefits, employer paid life insurance, and a monthly fuel allowance. Ready to take your career to the next level? Visit us at allcitytowing.com. All City Towing, where your future is on the move.
Twin Peaks is the best in the game. Here, your favorite drafts are poured at a frosty 29 degrees, and rare barrel-aged whiskeys are served just the way you want them. It's bigger game days and bolder fight nights. I mean, where else can you find a scratch kitchen that always comes in clutch every day from lunch to late night? Only at Twin Peaks, the #1 sports bar.
Twin Peaks Scratch Kitchen scores every time. Dig into hand-smashed burgers, chef-inspired flatbreads, and more at your local lodge.
Looking for reliable auto repair? Look no further than Network Automotive Service Centers. From brakes to full-service repairs, including network collision repair and network glass and calibration, we've got you covered. Enjoy honest prices, excellent customer service, and our unbeatable 24-month, 24,000-mile nationwide warranty. Schedule your appointment online today at our 5 Valley locations. Visit networkautomotive.com. Network Automotive, where your satisfaction is 100% guaranteed.
Beat the heat with AC Experts. Is your air conditioning ready for summer? Don't sweat it. Our certified technicians are here to keep your home cool and comfortable. From routine maintenance to emergency repairs, we've got you covered. Enjoy staycations in a perfectly chilled home. For a limited time, take advantage of our special discounts on new AC installations. Call AC Experts today at 480-386-6980 or visit acexpertsaz.com to schedule your appointment. Stay cool, Arizona.
You're invited to Vans Golf Shops for the Mother's Day sale this 5th through the 11th. Book a free club fitting for mom. For all apparel, 20% off. Starter sets over $299 are 15% off. And swing by the shoe wall to get an additional 20% off all Green Tag women's shoes. Vans Golf Shops is your home for the best Mother's Day gifts this year. Trusted by golfers since 1963 and home to the legendary 90-day satisfaction guarantee. Get there.
Craving a mouth-watering lunch that won't drain your wallet? Rush to Venezia's Pizzeria for daily specials starting at just $8.48. Sink your teeth into 2 giant loaded specialty pizza slices or a massive New York-style slice with a crisp, fresh salad, both with a drink and under $10. Dine in, grab it to go, or hit Venezia's.com. Forget bland fast food. Indulge in bold flavors at Venezia's. 7 Valley locations where family tradition delivers irresistible value. Venezia's.com.
It's time for the Cocoa 5 Suns Hardwood Report. Remember, Cocoa 5 is your go-to electrolyte-packed active hydration drink, perfect for athletes and active individuals of all levels and ages. Whether you're hitting the court or working out in the gym, Cocoa 5 helps you stay hydrated and ready to perform at your best. You can grab it at Fry's, Sprouts, Target, Walmart, and at cocoa5.com. Now let's jump right into the latest updates and highlights with the Sun.
It's always been a business thing with Jimmy Butler. Not getting paid what he thinks he deserves to get paid.
Butler puts that one back. This is going to be a Golden State victory.
And it was, and they did it easily. 99-88 last night. Warriors take game 1 against the Minnesota Timberwolves. Also last night, the Pacers now lead Cleveland 2-0. This evening, we're going to get you ready for the Knicks and the Celtics and also OKC and Denver. Welcome back, everybody. Roc and Manuch with Jimmy B. It is Jax and Connor here with me today on the show. As advertised, Tim Kempton is our guest. You can find him on X at Suns TK. That is Suns TK. Timmy, welcome, pal. As always, let us start first with what took place yesterday with the Suns and Brian Gregory being introduced officially as the new general manager of the Phoenix Suns. And I will tell you this, and this is the way that I have felt about what Matt Ishbia attempted to do. I thought he came in. I was happy that they went and found a basketball owner. I thought that he took big swings. It just didn't work. And so now they have to retool. Am I all wet on that, or do you see it some other way?
No, you're exactly right. I mean, you know, they made sure that they got the ownership deal done so he could make moves, and most notably Kevin Durant before the trade deadline that year that he bought the team. You know, he came in, he wasn't afraid to you know, like you say, swing for the fences, and it just hasn't worked. So now you have to figure out what to do with what you have and make changes along those routes. Brian Gregory's been around the team for a number of years, traveled with us, you know, all the time, saw him around, obviously an extensive basketball background, more so in the college game than in the pro game, but still a basketball mind. And from my takeaway, wasn't shy to let everybody know. He knows exactly why he's got the job. Matt Ishbia is a close friend. Matt has a lot of trust and confidence in him because of, you know, being around him, knowing his basketball travels. And now it's on him and Matt to make those changes that are necessary after swinging for the fences and coming up empty.
He talked about in his press conference, Tim, about the kind of coach that he wants to bring in. And you cover the Suns and are an analyst for the Phoenix Suns. They have to get this right after the last 2 years. In your mind, what's the most important thing that you would want for the next Phoenix Sun coach to be? Is it an assistant? Is it a type of characteristic? What are you looking for the Phoenix Suns front office to get this right with the new head coach coming up?
Yeah, if you guys have listened and to the broadcast and me talking to you over the years, I believe in movement. I was a big Kenny Gaddison guy before he got the Cleveland job. There are a lot of names out here. I go for someone that's young, that the players respect. I think that's going to be huge after the last couple of coaches, and someone that can get this team back to playing exciting basketball again. That's what I would like to see. I'd like to see them play to their strengths. I'd like to see movement. I'm not a big isolation guy. I would like to see movement and passing and sharing the ball and getting up and down the court.
Tim Kempton's our guest on the Right Toyota guest line. All right, Timmy, with what you just said there, and with one coach gone after 1 year, a second coach gone after 1 year, is that going to be problematic in your search for a new head coach, or is it because it's the NBA and there are only 30 of these jobs available?
Yeah, I think the second part is more true. If you offer someone a job to be a head coach in the NBA, they're not going to look and be worried that you fired the last three, especially if it's a younger guy, maybe getting his first opportunity. That's not gonna bother him at all. So there's only 30 NBA jobs. Guys know they get fired if they don't perform. So I don't think that's a hindrance at all.
Do you see a world, Tim, where Kevin Durant or Bradley Beal remain on the roster, or all three? Or do you think it's a circumstance where, hey, we need to acquire picks and future assets moving forward, that it's due that one or both will be gone for next season?
Yeah, I see both happening. I can see it where they don't trade either one because they're both extremely talented, and you just play it out, especially because the situation you're in now, people are looking at it. They're gonna try to steal Kevin Durant. They're gonna try to steal Bradley Beal because of the Suns' situation. So if you don't get what you feel is value in return, and stay with those guys, then it's on that new coaching staff to get with Kevin, Bradley, and Devin, because they're the three main guys. Obviously, everybody else is important as well, but it's up to that new coach to establish a relationship with those guys. I mean, let's face it, it's not because of talent that this didn't work. So if nothing is of value, stay with this roster and run it back and see what you can do with a new system, with a new coach, with guys coming together, all aligned and playing, the way we expect them to, with the talent that they have.
It seems like there's been a lot of negativity surrounding Brian Gregory. Maybe it was just the fan base expecting something different with this move. But you mentioning before how you've traveled around with Brian Gregory. I'm sure you've had multiple conversations. Is there any positive stuff that you know of Brian, or how you think this move, could be positive for the Suns moving forward? I feel like we always talk about the negative side of things, and you have an insight on Brian. If you wouldn't mind kind of enlightening our listeners and us on who Brian is and what positive things you think you can do for the Phoenix Suns.
Well, me personally, I like it because, there's no ego there. There's no look at me. There's no, as he said, he didn't come out there and tout, oh, well, I've been around basketball forever and I know this and I know that and I know everything else. He's a solid basketball guy. He knows he's in position because of Matt Ishbia. I don't think you'll have to worry about him, putting himself before the team. Now, that's not saying James Jones did. I'm just saying that's not like someone else that they could have hired that maybe has a higher profile. Brian Gregory is a solid basketball guy. So, yeah, I don't understand why all the out there in one day after he gets announced, and and there's a lot of people that their first job is their first job. You know, so just because he wasn't a GM any place before doesn't mean that he's not equipped to do the job. So, I don't understand the negativity. Brian Gregory has been around this team. He knows the personalities. He's got relationships with all three guys and the entire roster. And again, he's a solid basketball guy that's been in many different situations. So he has many different experiences to take his craft from. So I actually like the hire from not going from, like you said, swinging for the fences again. You swung for the fences with Kevin Durant and Bradley Beal. Let's go with a really solid guy that knows basketball, doesn't have a big ego, isn't out there, just doing it for himself. He's doing it for, to be a good GM and show that he can do the job that Matt Ishbia gave to him.
Tim, I know that they're going to take their time in the coaching search, but in your estimation, you said they're looking maybe for a younger guy with a lot more energy. Would they also be looking for a guy possibly who was a former player and is an assistant coach somewhere else as well?
Yeah, I'm sure they're looking at everything. I've heard names. I've heard Mike Brown, heard Chris Quinn, had Jared Dudley. How about Jerry Stackhouse? Jerry Stackhouse has got head coaching ability in the G League for the Toronto Raptors. He had some time in Detroit, in Michigan, where a lot of these connections right now are being made, and he's on the bench at Golden State right now. Jerry Stackhouse, Sam Cassell, a lot of these younger, but then there's also names of like Mike Brown and other guys that have had head coaching jobs in the NBA as well. I think it's going to be a much broader search than the last time when it was Mike Budenholzer, and that was really the only guy that we heard.
Tim, I know you're a basketball fan as well. The NBA playoffs have been absolutely insane. A bunch of underdogs in game one. How do you see the Western?
Absolutely brutal basketball. That game last night was fun to watch. Adam Silver is absolutely doing a terrible job killing basketball with the way these games are being played. That game last night was atrocious because of the physicality between Golden State and Minnesota. And we're seeing it throughout all these other series as well. Now, the upsets and the close finishes, great. But the reason that they're getting to these upsets and close finishes with the style of basketball that's being played is atrocious. Adam Silver's killing the NBA right now.
When you say that, and yet the television ratings are up, is that a product of the close games that have been played and the buzzer beaters, and not a product of the roughhouse play?
Yeah, I mean, viewership or whatever, but I'm saying from a true basketball stand, he's killing the game. Why does if this is the way he wants the game to be played, how come we don't play it for 82 games out of the year?
That's fair.
Why is there such a drastic shift from the regular season to playoff basketball if this basketball is so good? Adam Silver's doing a terrible job manipulating the game with the three-pointers and, deciding, who initiates contact, a ticky-tack foul, but you can grab and hold all you want. But then as soon as the referee decides that arbitrarily he's going to make a call, when you've been beating a guy up for 92 feet and the last 2 feet you breathe on him and it's a foul. It's just terrible basketball.
Tim Kempton is our guest on the Right Toyota Guest Line. I'm not going to let you run yet because this is great. I want you to tell me then, because you and I have had this discussion throughout the entire season. We think they have to do something to curtail the three-point shooting in the NBA to make it more interesting. Timmy, the Boston Celtics in game one against the Knicks, missed 45 three-pointers. Missed 45 three-pointers. Something's got to be done.
Well, you got to just make them. I think the thing that's going, under the radar there, the Knicks played them and needed overtime to beat a team that couldn't throw it in the ocean. I don't like the reliance on the three-pointer. I think it covers up a lot of different things, a lot of weaknesses on the basketball court. I don't know how you roll the three-pointer back, But to me, it's just it's the league has manipulated the basketball game to try to make it something. And just like anything, once you let it out of Pandora's box, you can be in trouble. And now they don't have a reasonable way to fix it to make it good basketball anymore.
All right, I'll let you go on this one. We're going to get the two top players in the NBA again tonight, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, who most likely will be the MVP of the league, and the Joker. So you get Nikola Jokic and Shai, and it is a dream matchup. For me, Jokic is the best player on the planet and should be the MVP again, but I referenced Steve Nash, and Steve won back-to-back MVPs, should have won a third, but the NBA, for some reason, they just don't want to do that. Are we going to see that again for this upcoming MVP vote?
Yeah, I agree wholeheartedly with everything that you said there. It's just, that's the problem. They vote him, and then the guy gets better, and then they just get voters' remorse, and the league doesn't want it to happen. They want to promote the younger guys as well. So I agree totally. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander will win it, although the best player in the league and someone that has carried his team even more so than Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, and just because they won more games. Nikola Jokic is the MVP in this league right now.
This is why we love having you on the show. Thank you for your time again this afternoon. Have a great day, Tim.
Thanks, guys. Talk to you.
There you go. There we go.
Whew. I didn't know he was going to call it Adam Silver like that. Oh, my goodness.
He laid it out on him right then. Yeah. That's why we love having Timmy on the show. I mean, he doesn't hold back. He's got his opinions, and his opinions, for the most part, when he started talking about he's upset at the officiating because it's like a rock fight out there right now. And he said, why is it so much different in the playoffs than it is in the regular season? Look, I get it that in the playoffs you want to let the boys play a little more, but not rock fight. And that's what he was referring to. And then all of a sudden they make a call, and it's like a touch foul to put somebody on the line. It's interesting the way that he explained it. That's why I love having Tim on the show. That is our son's Cocoa 5 Hardwood Report. Cocoa 5, 6 refreshing, all natural flavors without dyes, caffeine, or anything unpronounceable, and less than half the sugar of popular hydration and sports drinks. It's perfect to rehydrate and recharge muscles for people of all ages. Cocoa 5's majority owner and ambassador, Sons Devin Booker. Cocoa 5 is available at grocery stores around the valley, also online at cocoa5.com. All right, a quick timeout. When we come back, Lerner and Rowe, one call, the update of our State 48 roofing. It's your call question of the day as well. It's Roc and Manuch with Jimmy B, ESPN 620 on the FM dial 98.7 HD2. Plus, we are always streaming, and if you miss a show, our podcasts are up at arizonasports.com.
Have you been arrested for something you didn't do? When your liberty is on the line, you need an aggressive, experienced attorney to defend your rights. Lerner & Rowe Law Group is the firm you can trust with your freedom. Our criminal defense attorneys have represented thousands of clients across the state. And with our affordable payment plans, you can get the defense you need immediately. If you've been wrongly charged with the crime, time is not on your side. Call Lerner & Rowe today for a free consultation. We're available to help you 24/7.
Is the way to go. Call 977-1900.
Introducing Baja Riba, premium tequila found at Albertsons, Safeway, and your favorite restaurants. Crafted from 100% blue Weber agave, Baja Riba offers an authentic sipping experience. With 88 years of tradition, our master distiller creates smooth flavors of baked agave, white pepper, and citrus zest. And don't miss our stunning handcrafted bottle, winner of the 2022 Bottle of the Year by Tequila Aficionado magazine. Discover the artistry of Baja Riba tequila, one of the finest in the world.
Life's a sprint, and you need a quick pick-me-up. Meet G2G Protein Bars, the ultimate grab-and-go meal replacement. Whether you're hustling in the office, enjoying a day on the links, or conquering the daily grind, G2G is your perfect fuel. Score an 8-pack at your local Costco's refrigerated section or explore amazing flavors at G2GBar.com. Quick, delicious, and power-packed. G2G protein bars, setting the pace for your energetic lifestyle.
Tired of the same old weekend routine? Then head to Putting World. Experience an elevated 18-hole golf adventure.
You're going to use the Soto home runs
Crafted cocktails and live
to
music.
do that. That way I can talk about the game a little bit.
Enjoy daily specials.
Or what? You got something else? Timmy going off?
Birdies, bites, and brews await. Check out this week's live music schedule at puttingworld.com or just swing on by Putting World, located in the Scottsdale Promenade.
What did you have in mind?
Putting World.
Hey, Manuch
Oh,
here.
okay.
As a former NFL quarterback, I've taken a few hits, but nothing worse.
Yeah, let's do Soto because that was right now, and the game's just over. So yeah, let's do Soto, and we can discuss the game a little bit. Eat up the rest of the time.
The bamboo pears, game changers. Cool, soft.
I didn't watch the game. I don't have a lot of comments on it.
For your lower half, even out in this Arizona heat, Chill Boys keeps me comfortable and focused. I've swapped out the old gear. Now I'm Team Chill Boys, and the whole squad at ESPN 620 is too. Try one pair, you'll feel the difference. Hit up chillboys.com, use code ESPN, and get 20% off your first order. For underwear that protects the pocket and keeps you cool in crunch time.
It's the Lerner and Rowe one call, that's all call of the day. If you're looking for a full-service law firm, just make one call, that's all. 602-977-1900. Lerner and Rowe, voted Arizona's best law firm.
One out, the 1-1 pitch. Swung on, high fly ball, deep right center. Soto admires, gazes, looks up because that one is gone. Into the overhang in center. And Soto's 6th home run of the season gives New York a 1-0 lead. Beats his 0-1 pitch. Soto swings, goes the opposite way to deep left field. Gurriel is back, and that one's going to go. Another multi-home run game for Soto against the Diamondbacks. He got one in New York, and now he's got one in Phoenix. 4-0 Mets.
7-1 was the final, and the Mets win the game over the Diamondbacks. They're doing their post-game interviews right now. Juan Soto teeing off and putting the Mets in a great position to win the game, and then they added 3 more runs in their half of the 9th inning. That is our Lerner and Rowe one call, that's all. In a wreck, need a check, just make one call, 602-977-1900. Always at lernerandrowe.com. Remember, you get a free consultation. Once again, Lerner and Rowe, one call, that's all, 602-977-1900. Now we'll get to What's on Tap. It's presented by the Roc and Manuch Amber, and it's brewed by Dos Equis. There is NBA playoff action tonight. It is Game 2. New York Knicks at the Boston Celtics. It's going to tip here in just a few minutes on TNT and True TV. And then the second game tonight, Denver Nuggets and the Oklahoma City Thunder. That one will tip around 6:30 on TNT and True TV as well. The Nuggets lead that series 1-0. Who do you like in that right now?
I'm going to say both 1 seeds bounce back.
Okay.
I'm going to say Thunder close.
Okay.
And then I'll say the Celtics dominate the Knicks and cover the 10.5.
That's correct. NHL playoff second round game. It's Game 2 between the Panthers and Maple Leafs. That game will drop the puck a little after 4:00. And you can watch that game on ESPN. All right, our State 48 Roofing. It's your call question of the day. For a free quote, repair, or installation, head to State 48 Roofing.
Yeah, how would you grade New Suns general manager Brian Gregory's introduction press conference yesterday? A, B, C, or D? 50-50 vote here between C and D, 50% each. You still can vote at Roc and Manuch on Twitter. I voted D.
You voted D.
I voted D.
I went C. And I'm going to give him the benefit of the doubt and see what happens. Look, I get it. He doesn't really have any GM experience, not even as a real assistant, but he does have a lot of coaching experience, although it is on the college level. He was instrumental in working their draft process last season. So I will give him C and let the chips fall where they may. I'm not going to bury the guy right off the top. I was disappointed, like a lot of people, that this is the way that it went down. But Tim Kempton, I thought, said something while we had him on the show earlier when we were talking to him. And he said, the one thing that Brian Gregory does have is that he's smart. And if he's smart, then maybe he will indeed make the right coaching decision, and maybe he will indeed find a way to make this Suns team better. And we know that they're in between a rock and a hard place, because teams, if they want to trade for Kevin Durant, are going to try to milk the Suns and not give them much of anything in return if they can get away with it, or the Suns are going to have Kevin Durant and Bradley Beal next season as well. And as a Suns fan, I don't really know how that's going to sit with the fan base, especially if, once again, you run into injuries with Bradley Beal like what we saw throughout the course of this past season.
Yeah, I think it's going to be interesting to see what they do at the head coaching spot. I know that Tim Kempton mentioned Jerry Stackhouse, who's the assistant head coach.
He did, yeah.
For the Warriors, another name I'd love to throw out there is Sam Cassell. Cassell, a guy that's been over 30 years in the NBA.
Sam Cassell.
15 as a player and the last 17 as an assistant coach. He's been with the Celtics the last 2 years. He's well respected across the league, and he holds the necessary experience to take on the mantle. I think that would be a huge addition. I would love to see him, a guy that came from the Celtics, that won an NBA championship, that knows what it's about. Again, the former players, the young guys that the players can go and respect is really what you all can ask for. But at this point, with him going in-house and Brian Gregory, that's someone he knows, Ishbia will probably go with someone that he knows as well too. So I don't know. I don't have too much upside. I'm not too excited to see what happens next, but I hope that he can kind of sway the valley and get an assistant that everyone can buy into, because man, the fan base is not happy. And Tim Kempton will sugarcoat it all he wants, that he's happy about the situation. He's happy that they got a guy that's in-house that knows the personalities and personnel and that doesn't have a big ego. I get that too, but I think at the end of the day, it's a tough look after what you saw from the press conference.
Agreed.
And him knowing Matt Ishbia and him saying that the reason why he got this job is because of Matt Ishbia. It's just a tough look that you have to accept that your fan base is upset.
I give him credit for coming out right away and stating that, but I'm with you when you say that it's a tough sell. And it is a tough sell, which is why on our State 48 Roofing It's Your Call question of the day, I gave it a C. And I will wait and see if indeed he has any success at all. Because if he has any success at all, it'll be a very pleasant surprise. And so that would make the fan base happy. Right now, Jax, I get exactly where you're coming from, because people that I speak to that are Suns fans, and we know there are thousands and thousands and thousands of them, they are not happy.
How do you see the games going tonight? Knicks, Celtics, Nuggets, Thunder.
I think that the Celtics bounce back. I could see the Nuggets stealing another one.
Wouldn't that be something?
Just like what we saw last night with the Pacers stealing one again in Cleveland. I can see that taking place. And the Nuggets are playing great basketball. They cannot stop the Joker. And Russell Westbrook off the bench, he had 18 points. He had like 7 assists, including the assist that set up the winning bucket from Aaron Gordon. And if Westbrook continues to play this way, I could see the Nuggets winning again tonight. It should be great theater and great entertainment. Tomorrow, we're going to be in Tempe. We're going to catch up with Diamondbacks reporter Jody Jackson. We'll head to Boston and talk to John Sapichetti, and the Cardinals beat writer Howard Balzer will join us. Once again, Twin Peaks in Tempe is where you can find us. Connor, sensational job. Jax, you were terrific. I sucked pond water once again. Thank you, everybody, for listening. ESPN 620.